Hey guys, so today we have two very interesting electronic products to look at. So this is the Viture XR glasses and this is the Rokid Max. And these are both glasses that are, they claim to be AR glasses, but really I think they're like portable displays. They're video glasses basically. They have an image that project in front of your eyes. And they have similar specs. Actually, both of these glasses came out because a Chinese company called Nreal actually released a pair of AR glasses last year called the Nreal Airs. And those actually have experienced a bit of popularity, and I think that kind of started this trend of now you see these more AR glasses coming out. So yeah, I don't have the Nreal here because well, that's an older product, and plus a lot of video reviews have already covered that already on YouTube and stuff. It's just a more popular product, so more people have their hands on it. I'm looking at the Rokid Max and the Viture. These two are both fairly recent. The Viture actually came out in May, and Rokid just came out I think in May or June. So they're fairly recent products, and not as many video reviews on these guys. So both of these glasses have kind of similar specs, but a little bit different in some ways. So the Viture XR glasses, they project a 120-inch virtual display as seen from 10 feet away, 60 Hz refresh rate, has a 1080p Full HD micro OLED panel, 75 grams in weight, and 0 to -5D myopia adjustment for people who are nearsighted, although you can have prescription lenses as well. And then for the Rokid Max, you have 215-inch max screen as seen from 6 meters away, so a little bit larger display. 120 Hz refresh rate, so double the refresh rate. 1080p Full HD micro OLED, exactly the same panels. Also 75 grams in weight, should be exactly the same weight. And 0 to -6D myopia adjustment, so a little bit more adjustment. But otherwise, I think these are pretty equivalent products. They also have similar pricing as well. So the Viture glasses around $450 US just for the glasses itself, and the Rokid Max about $440. So very similar. As you can see, I got them with a few accessories. So the Viture, I got the mobile dock, which adds an extra battery pack and allows you to connect it to a Nintendo Switch. So together, this is about 600 bucks. The Rokid Max, I got it with the wireless cast, which is actually using a Guvis wireless casting adapter. That's kind of funny that they're using another Chinese company. But yeah, adding the wireless cast, and comes with this Rokid hub as well. Together it's about $550, I would say. So pretty similar pricing. The Viture is a little bit more expensive, but not by much. And yeah, it will be interesting to compare these two. So again, I don't have the Nreal AR glasses, but a lot of video reviews on YouTube already covered it. I'm more interested in comparing these two. As far as I know, there is no video review on YouTube right now comparing the Viture XR glasses with the Rokid Max. So I hope this is the very first video on YouTube comparing these two. So yeah, we're gonna find out. First, let's do the unboxing for each, and yeah, we'll go on from there. Alright, first one I'm going to unbox is the Viture XR glasses, and these ones came out just this May, so just a few months ago. It's relatively new, and yeah, pretty excited to try this one out. Wonder if this is actually the Time Magazine Best Inventions 2022. Future is on view. So yeah, these are a pair of video glasses made by a small startup company. Originally this came from a Kickstarter or Indiegogo crowdfunded project, I think. What's interesting about Viture is that they're not actually a Chinese company. I think they're actually a Western, like American company with ex-Googlers and ex-Apple employees in there, which is really interesting to me, because most of the time when you see these kind of products, they're mostly from Chinese companies, right, like the Rokid. But this one is actually from a company based in the San Francisco Bay Area. So that's pretty interesting to me. So yeah, let's check it out. And the glasses by themselves retail for $450, and I got it with the mobile dock, and in this combination it retails for closer to $600. So yeah, not inexpensive, but pretty much in line with other glasses on the market, I'd say. So yeah, this is the box itself. Actually opens up like this, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so here are the glasses themselves in the box, in the case, and let's see what else you get. So you get the cleaning cloth here, microfiber cloth, and then you get Viture X1 with safety guidelines. Okay, you know, this should be pretty self-explanatory and common sense. Just, you know, don't wear it for too long. And then on the other side, you get the quick start guide. So this one, you can connect your glasses to anything that has a USB-C output that supports video. So yeah, anything with USB-C video output should be able to connect, except for the Nintendo Switch, because it's a little bit special. You really need to have a kind of adapter with it to make it, like, to fool the Switch into thinking that's kind of the Nintendo Switch dock. Because normally the Nintendo Switch does not output video unless it's the Nintendo dock. So you need to have a special adapter for it. In this case, you have to get the mobile dock accessory, which I do have. So yeah, but otherwise, the other devices should just work with any device that has USB-C video out. Like any smartphone, tablet, laptop, Steam Deck, that should all work. So it comes with an anti-clip hair cover. If you get the mobile dock, it plays with the Switch. And then you have diopter adjustments, for people who are nearsighted. You can swap out the nose pads, because everyone has different noses. And you have a prescription lens frame for people who are even more nearsighted than the diopters. So, oh yeah, you could choose the, oh yeah, that's for the nose pads, that's fine. Switch between AR mode and VR mode here. Yeah, I'm gonna see, I think the only difference here is that the AR mode, like the electrochromic film is turned off, which I guess allows to see more around you. And on VR mode, the electrochromic film is turned on. So I don't think it's actually technically like this mode just makes it work with VR games, and this mode makes it work with AR games or something like that. I think it's just turning this this film on and off. So I think that's all it does. And switching between 2D and 3D mode. I'm not going to use this one too much because I don't really have any more 3D content. This was like 10 years ago, sure. Like I had 3D Blu-rays because that was the fad back then, and I had a 3D TV with the NVIDIA 3D Vision glasses and stuff, and 3D Blu-rays, but now I don't really watch 3D content anymore. It's really just like a fad. I don't think it was that special. Just IMO, when I watched those 3D movies, I didn't think it was like mind-blowing or anything like that. And then you can play with the neckband. Okay, so the neckband actually allows you to stream content on the go and from anywhere, which is really, really cool, with a connection to the cloud, of course. But yeah, that's and also contains its own operating system. I believe it runs something similar to Android TV, which is really cool. But I don't have this accessory. This is like an extra $150, I think. And then giant 120-inch screen is what it says, with 55 pixels per degree, 1080p at 60 FPS. Okay, I'll have to confirm that once I wear it. And this is adjusting the brightness and the volume is with the controls there. And you can double press that one to switch between volume and brightness. Okay, cool. So this one can double as both brightness and volume adjustment. And then okay, so they recommend you to adjust the source device volume first. Stunning audio. I wonder how the speakers are like, really. I'll have to test out the speakers, but I'm curious to see how, are they going to be better than my Razer Anzu glasses or my Oculus Quest 2 headset? I'm not sure. I'm guessing it should be similar, but I'll have to test that out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And here we have another quick start guide. This time it's, oh, okay, so we have two. One is for English, German, Italian, French, and Spanish. The other is for Japanese, Korean, Chinese. Okay, this is for the Asian markets. Okay, so that's pretty much it. What you get, the sides of the box, and then the main box itself, you get the glasses in a case, and then you get an anti-clip hair cover, which I won't need because I don't have long hair, and nose pads. Okay. Alright, so here are your different nose pads and your anti-clip hair cover right here. So yeah, if you have different size noses, of course you can use these other nose pads. I think the one it comes with should fit most people, but it's nice to have additional choices here. Alright, and this is the case. It does look like a regular sunglasses case, I guess. And then we open it, and here are the Viture XR glasses, and it does look similar to a pair of sunglasses actually. I got this in indigo blue color, and they actually have a black color as well, but I think the indigo blue color looks a little bit better. Yeah, it looks pretty similar to sunglasses. Obviously you can tell there's like an additional pair of lenses or something behind it, and that's really for the projection display. So behind this flap here, you get a USB-C to magnetic connector cable. So this uses a proprietary cable, I think. So yeah. Yeah, I guess some people are disappointed about this because they're expecting it to use a USB-C charging just like the Viture Air, but it uses its own proprietary magnetic charger connector, kind of similar to MagSafe or like a smartwatch. But you know, there's pros and cons to this, right? I think it might be a little bit more convenient to use this, but of course it's the downside being that it's proprietary. Alright, and here's the glasses themselves. So I guess this is the part where you can replace the nose clips. And I think overall from just a regular perspective here of looking at it, it doesn't look too different from regular sunglasses. I mean, it looks a little bit odd, I agree, but it has these like second pair of lenses behind it. But it doesn't look like all that different, I guess, and that's actually good because, you know, most people are expecting, actually, if you're going to sell a pair of these AR glasses, you want them to look stylish and you don't want them to look weird or like the old school HMDs you put on your head. You don't want them to look like that because that's like, people can tell, right? Yeah, you're wearing something a little bit off, a little bit weird. At least these glasses, actually with the Viture Air and the Rokid, a lot of these modern AR glasses, they look quite stylish to me, so they shouldn't look like you're wearing like a newfound, you know, piece of nerdy technology. So I guess that's what they're going for, right? They don't want it to be, they don't want it to stand out too much. Even Google Glass, right? Google Glass, you can obviously tell when a person's wearing it. This thing, yeah, I mean, it looks different, but I don't think people are really going to notice it unless they really stare directly, like, you know, look at the glasses too much, right, into your eyes, and then they can tell, oh, it's something different. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's 75 grams, I guess, which is like 3 times heavier than regular sunglasses. But honestly, not that different than my Razer Anzu glasses. So for comparison, these are my Razer Anzu smart glasses. Now these ones don't have any kind of projector display inside of it. They have speakers and microphone, which is why I use them for work meetings. But they don't have any kind of projector screen inside of it. It is lighter, but it's not like, the difference isn't like really huge or anything. Of course, the Razer Anzus really do look like regular glasses. I mean, these really, people won't be able to tell that they're not normal glasses unless you actually look at the arms here and you can tell, oh, these actually have speakers built in and microphone. But other than that, the Razer Anzus really do look like regular glasses. And they have blue light filter on these ones, although you can get prescription lenses as well. The Viture XR glasses, yeah. Also, they kind of look like regular sunglasses. You just have to, like, really, if you really look into them, you can tell that they're not. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to stand out all too much either. But maybe you guys can let me know when I try these on. So yeah, you can tell that there's a little projector screen inside of here. And maybe guys, I'll show you later when something's actually running on these. But yeah, this is what they look like from the bottom. Again, you can swap out the nose pads here. And then the arms here, there's the built-in speakers. I will have to compare them against the Razer Anzus to see if they're actually better or not. The Razer Anzu is actually okay, considering that, you know, whenever you put speakers inside a pair of glasses, they're not going to be that great. So, you know, that's just something that we have to accept. They're not going to be like full-size headphones or whatever. But I have to say that the Razer Anzus are decent for what they are, right? For a pair of speakers built into a glasses frame, I think they're fine. They're solid. So I have to compare these to the Razer Anzus because the Viture does the same thing. These speakers don't look quite as big as the ones in the Razers, but we'll see. I'm going to tell them they're kind of similar to the ones on my Oculus Quest 2 actually, which are just okay. And then yeah, it's got the magnetic connector here on the right arm, the outside of the right arm, which is important because it doesn't really get in the way when you put them on. And then you get the volume brightness controls right here, and you get the control here to switch from the AR mode into the VR mode, or what they call AR mode and VR mode anyways, which is just making the outside of the glasses darker, or like gives it like a tint. I'll have to try that. And then there's the diopters on the top of the glasses here, which you can adjust for your eyesight. So yeah, that's really it. Diopters. You can see there's, yeah, this little external, or this little like secondary lens here with a built-in projector screen or display right here inside of it. It's supposed to be micro OLED. Same thing as the Rokid essentially. And yeah, these controls here, nothing on this side. Magnetic connector, and that's really it for these glasses. Not too much going on, and that's fine, right? You don't want to have too many controls on something like this. And yeah, again, comparing the size to the Viture Anzus. The Viture Anzus are definitely lighter, but then again, these only do sound, and these ones do sound and yeah, and video as well. So you got the audio and the visuals going on with these glasses. All right, so yeah, that is the unboxing of the Viture XR glasses. All right, and up next we can look at the Viture mobile dock, which is an optional accessory that you can use to have additional battery power and also connect it to the Nintendo Switch. So this is an extra $130 usually by itself. You can get as part of the combo pack together for close to $600. That's because I got it after tax. It's around $600. So yeah, this is the mobile dock. All right, really does look like a battery pack, right? Like basically like a battery bank. That's what it looks like here. And you get the quick start and safety guidelines. So again, you get it in multiple languages. Safety guidelines, I think everyone knows how to use a battery pack. Okay, quick start guide. So this is what this battery pack does. So the Viture XR glasses does not have its own built-in battery. So if you want to use it on the go, it basically has to suck up the juice from your host device, your source device, your phone, your tablet, gaming handheld, whatever. It takes the battery from that device. But if you don't want it to take up the battery from that device, that's what you can use this battery pack for. It'll give you an additional few hours of battery life from both your device and for the glasses, I think. So yeah, this has HDMI, which you can use to connect other HDMI sources. So if you have a PlayStation or an Xbox or something that doesn't have USB-C video out, you can actually connect it to here, and you can use that with your glasses. Although, you know, those are not portable devices, but, you know, this is an extra, it's nice to have an extra port here in case you do have an additional HDMI device you want to connect. And then this is for connecting the Switch specifically. I mean, it even has the Switch colors right here. So for connecting Nintendo Switch, like I said, Nintendo Switch normally cannot output video through the USB-C unless it knows it's a Nintendo dock. And this is, I guess, to fool it or trick it into thinking it's a Nintendo dock. And this is for connecting multiple Viture One XR glasses. So if you have a friend or a buddy who also got Viture glasses, then you can both play the same game, or yeah, connect it to something. You guys can both view the same screen basically, and can play the same game together, which is really cool. So that's something I don't see really anything else do. It's having this allowing two players essentially, or two people, to connect to the same source device. That's really cool. So that's a cool feature that the mobile dock has. And then yeah, you need it to play the Nintendo Switch, because you need to fool into thinking it's a Nintendo dock. Normally it wouldn't work. And then I think that's, oh, you can use yeah, you can use it with a HDMI streaming stick, Chromecast, Fire TV, you know, those kind of things, Roku maybe. You can connect that to the HDMI. Pretty much anything that has HDMI out you can use this for, which is nice. And connect two pairs. Yep, you can both be watching. I mean, it's cool, right? Just think of the idea, right? You're on a, say you're on outside somewhere and you do have a mobile connection. Then you just connect like a Fire TV stick or a Google Chromecast stick or whatever. You plug it into the HDMI. Your friend has a pair of Viture ones, and you both plug it in. You both start watching, you know, Netflix or whatever together on the go, using a pair of glasses, and that's really cool, right? I mean, I assume the display is going to be better than just looking at a smartphone screen, so it should be an upgrade over that. And this is the USB-C cable. This is a short one because I think it's meant to connect like this. So you connect one here, and then your Nintendo Switch goes here. So you got to hold your Switch and the battery dock at the same time. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Looks like a portable battery pack, because essentially that's what it is, right? You can charge it up with, let's see, where's the charger here? I think you just charge it with this, actually. Yeah, you plug this one into the wall, and then that's how you charge this thing. And then, yeah, it can also be used to plug in your, yeah, this will also be used to provide power as well as receive power. So I think that's what this one USB-C port is for. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. You would get this if you want to extend the battery life of your session, basically. Normally, it would just suck up your device's battery life. So if you have a Steam Deck, right, Steam Deck doesn't have much battery life to begin with. If you use it with these glasses, well, it's going to be even shorter, right? So yeah, then you just get a battery pack. Of course, you can use your Steam Deck or Asus ROG Ally, whatever you hook it up to for longer. You'll just use up the battery here. Or if you have a Nintendo Switch, this is pretty necessary to connect your Switch and play it on the go, using a bigger virtual display, so that's nice. Having an input for any HDMI device is also pretty nice as well. Like I have an NVIDIA Shield, and then if I want to watch it with a friend or whatever, I just plug in my Shield here. And we can actually play emulators or watch something together on YouTube. That's cool. And yeah, this allows two people to watch the same source, which is really cool. So there's a bunch of things that this mobile dock does. I would say this is probably the most useful accessory for me. I know for some people the neckband is more useful because they like the ability to stream stuff from the cloud anywhere, and that's a really nice idea too. But for me, the mobile dock is probably the accessory I would like the most, and that's why I got it. So yeah, that's the Viture XR glasses, and I think it's pretty interesting. Next, we're going to check out the Rokid Max and see how it compares. Okay, so now we come to the Rokid Max. As mentioned, this cost around $440 just for the glasses themselves, so very similar to the Viture XR glasses by itself. Got it with the wireless cast pack in the hub for around $550. And yeah, this is a Chinese company, unlike Viture, but like Nreal. So yeah, we'll see how this compares. This box is a little bit smaller than the Vitures, not quite as eye-catching as the Vitures, I gotta say. Okay, so you just get this. Yeah, you just get this one carrying case, which actually looks like the carrying case for a Bluetooth speaker. Yeah, it doesn't have the cool box that the Viture has. The Viture has this butterfly opening. But yeah, let's take a look. Rokid app. So maybe gotta install this AR app. And let's see what else is in here. User manual. Okay, it's oddly shaped user manual here. So okay, you got the case in the box. You got the nose pads and the charger. Oh, you get these pair of blockout shades, which is nice because the Viture doesn't provide that. Okay, so then we got a plug-and-play product. So I think you just charge with USB-C for this one. There's no magnetic charging like on the Vitures, right? And let's see, switch mode. Okay, you can switch between 120 and 60 hertz. Switch between 3D mode and 2D mode. So this also has the ability to go between 2D and 3D. Adjust volume. Then you got the 0 to -60 myopia adjustment, so compared to the 0 to -5D of the Viture. So if you're a little bit more nearsighted, the Rokid might be better. And yeah, but otherwise I think it works pretty much the same way as on the Vitures. And nose pads as well, and the blackout cover. This is something I wish the Viture had. It doesn't come with a blackout cover. I might have to get one separately for the Vitures. And yeah, I think, and you get the, yeah, of course, you get the cleaning cloth. Yep, that's pretty much it here. Yep. So not as much in the box as with the Vitures. Then you get the carrying case, which the Vitures look more like a sunglasses carrying case. The Rokid looks more like a Bluetooth speaker. So look, it looks like a Beats pill, doesn't it? Kind of. Alright, so here's the shades. Is this with the blackout thing on? Okay. And alright, it comes with the USB-C cable, of course. So this is a USB-C to USB-C cable. And then you get extra nose pads. You only get one extra pair. The Viture gives you 3 extra pairs. So yeah, This one you only get one extra pair, unfortunately. I think the Viture gives you a bit more. Yeah, Viture gives you like 3 pairs of nose pads. This one only 3 extra pairs of nose pads. This one only gives you 1 extra pair. That's pretty much it in this box here. Comparison, this is what the Viture case looks like. Yeah, the Viture case compared to the Rokid Max case. I'd say the Viture's case looks a little bit cooler to me, but anyways, they're both similar, I guess, kind of similar. They both hold your cables as well, which is nice. Okay, so here are the Rokid Max glasses here, and well, let's compare. So this has the blackout shades on, I believe. If we try to take these off. Oh, here we go, okay. Okay, so these are the blackout shades that you can put on, and once you take them off, it looks like this. Now it looks like more of a normal pair of sunglasses. So, yeah, there's a comparison here. The Viture XR glasses versus the Rokid Max. They are kind of similar, I guess. Obviously, you can tell if you look closely enough that there's a second pair of like lenses here behind it to project the display, but that's only if you really look into whoever's wearing these glasses, right? Otherwise, they look similar enough. Yeah, the Rokids look a little bit more oval shaped, whereas the Vitures look more like aviator shaped. But yeah, they're. I mean, broadly speaking, you could say that the Rokid takes more cues from an Oakley, whereas the Viture takes more cues from a Ray-Ban. But yeah, anyways, they look similar enough. Again, comparing the size of these glasses with the Razer Anzu that I have. Yep, you can see obviously adding video capability is going to increase the thickness. And the Razers, I think, weighs about half as much, but the Rokid Max and the Viture XR glasses weigh about the same amount, 75 grams, so it's just roughly 3 times as much as a regular pair of sunglasses, and probably like twice the weight of the Razers. But yeah, I'm interested to see, actually the sound quality comparison between these and the Razers as well would be interesting to compare. So yeah, you can see there's speakers on the bottom of the Razer Anzu, and magnetic charging, because the Razers also have a proprietary magnetic charger, just like the Vitures. And if we open up the Rokids, alright. So yeah, bottom of the Rokids, you can see that there is a virtual projector lens right there. It's very similar to the one on the Vitures. The Vitures like that, Rokids are like that. Again, pretty similar. They have to have similar technology, right? They're both using similar lenses too. They're both using 1080p micro OLED lenses. And the nose pads, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the Rokid only gives you 1 extra pair, whereas the Viture gives you 3 extra pairs of nose pads. Yeah, we'll see how comfortable these are on my nose. And then other big difference, of course, is the Rokid Max charges with USB-C, and the Viture charges with this proprietary magnetic MagSafe light connector, which is both a pro and a con, as I mentioned before, I think. They both have these like speakers that are built into the arms of the glasses. Now, I'm not sure how good these are. Again, I'll have to compare these. These look all pretty similar to each other. At least from the exterior, right? The Vitures and the Rokid Max, yeah, they all look pretty similar to my Oculus Quest 2's speakers, which are built into the arms of the glasses or the headset. So yeah, it'll be interesting to compare the Razer Anzu speakers with the Viture speakers and the Rokid speakers. I mean, these are all different speakers on glasses, so it'll be interesting to compare them all. I'm not expecting them to sound like full-size headphones or anything, but it'll be interesting to compare. And yeah, you have these other buttons here, of course, pretty similar buttons. You have volume adjustment, and this one is to switch to brightness setting, I think, and also to switch to 3D mode if you hold it. So again, very similar arrangement to the Vitures, which also have yeah, adjustments for the volume, and this one is actually to switch between AR and VR mode. I think that's actually something special about the Vitures, is the ability to kind of have this screen be like, they use some kind of technology they call it? They use some kind of technology to kind of like make this a little bit more tinted and filtered. So when you press the AR versus VR mode, I think it will automatically block out some of the background, which is pretty cool. I don't think the Rokid Max has that. And then you have the diopter adjustments, which the Rokid has a little bit more of this, right? It goes down to -6D, whereas the Vitures go to -5D, but it's pretty similar, right? You have the diopter adjustments here on the Rokid Max, and you compare that to the Viture XR glasses, you can see fairly similar. Yeah, just the Rokids go a little bit lower, -6, and the Vitures go to -5. So if you're a little bit more myopic, maybe it might be better to pick up the Rokids. Otherwise, I think both of these should support prescription lenses. I mean, these days, going off of the Nreal AR glasses, right? If you want to compete with the Nreal, you got to offer that feature to be able to use prescription lenses. So I'm sure both of these have that, and the Razer actually has that too as well. But yeah, this is a comparison between the two physically, right? You can see that they are quite similar in many ways. They weigh exactly the same weight. They have exactly the same technology inside of them. Just the Rokids have a double the refresh rate, 120 hertz versus 60 hertz on the Vitures, and it has the -60 myopic adjustment. It goes down a little bit further. I think that's pretty much and maybe the virtual display, they say it's 215 inches, the Vitures say 120 inches. So that might be a big difference, but I'm gonna have to see. Also the charging, right? The Vitures charge with a magnetic cable, which is proprietary, and the Rokid charges with just a regular USB-C cable, just like the Nreals do. Nreal also charges with a regular USB-C cable. Also the speakers, I'm not sure, I'll have to test them out, but they look similar to me. Otherwise, I think there is definitely more similarities than differences between the two. The prices are also roughly similar between the two. So yeah, I'll just test both of these out. Appearance-wise, they're both modeled on different types of sunglasses. Like I said, the Rokid's probably more like an Oakley's, and the Viture is probably more like a Ray-Bans. But yeah, pretty similar. They definitely have more similarities than differences, that's for sure. And oh yeah, the Rokid Max also comes with these blockout shades. That makes it look a lot, well, a lot less natural. But hey, you know, at least it comes with it. That's pretty cool to get more immersion, I guess. The Viture doesn't come with that, unfortunately. So I had to try those out. And yeah, let's actually do the unboxing for the Groovis and the Rokid Hub as well. Let's just try the Rokid Hub. I think this is just an adapter, right? Let's see. Oh, yep. So I think this will allow it to connect to the Nintendo Switch, because like I said, the Switch doesn't normally output video through USB-C. You have to make it think like it's connecting to a Nintendo dock, and I think you need this to connect to the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, and you can also charge your device at the same time that you're connecting to the Rokid. I think that's another thing that this little hub allows you to do. So yeah, basically, I think that's what this hub is for. Let's just check. There is a user manual for this hub. So yeah, you plug into the mobile phone Type's USB-C port. Yeah, so this is, I guess, mainly so that you can charge your device and use the Rokids at the same time. So pretty nifty device here. The Groovis wireless cast, it's interesting they used another Chinese company here. I actually have tried the Groovis before. They make HMDs, which are a lot more bulkier looking than these glasses, but they're basically like cinema displays that are in a headset. So pretty similar to a VR headset, except they don't do VR. And it's interesting that they use Groovis for this. Maybe because Groovis already makes a pretty good wireless cast. Maybe, I don't know. I've tried the Groovis Lite before, but I haven't used their wireless adapters. And this is the wireless adapter. Let's see how good it is. Yeah, I mean, I guess Rokid, instead of spending R&D to develop their own wireless tech, why not just use Groovis's, right? Okay, so here we go. Wireless cast. Quick start guide. Nope. So, of course, Groovis is also a Chinese company, just like Rokid. Yeah, it's Type-C cabled. Okay, that's what's inside the packaging. Man, this is all in Chinese, right? Oh, okay, here's the English section here. Okay, so connecting wireless cast and display. So I wonder if this is going to be like the neckband for the Viture. Connected Type-C interface. You can use it with a power bank base, and that would really just make it like the mobile dock that the Viture has, I guess. And then you got the screen mirroring for iPhones, for Android, for Windows, for MacBooks. Okay, I'm gonna have to read more into this to see how this works. Power bank base. This is also a power bank. It charges your device. It comes with also oh, this is a USB-C to USB-A cable right here. So yeah, that's basically what that is. No need to even open that. And then this is the wireless cast and the power bank base. So yeah, this is the wireless cast power bank base. So this is a combination mobile battery pack and a wireless cast. So I guess this is going to replace, or equivalent I should say, to the Viture's mobile dock and neckband accessory. So yeah, let's see how this thing works. Charges with USB-C, power button right here. You can remove it, so it's like a portable battery pack, I guess. This is how you charge magnetically. It has HDMI input right here for connecting external HDMI devices, I guess. Type-C, USB cable, connecting USB-C with video out. So yeah, I'm going to test this out and yeah, see how well it works with the Rokid. Because apparently, even though this is made by Groovis and made for their HMDs, it might, well, it does work with the Rokid, I expect, because they're selling this along with the Rokids. So yeah, I'm going to try these out as well. So a few other things about the Rokid. So the Rokid also does not have a battery, so just like the Viture, it has to be powered off of your source device. And I think that's why Rokid includes this Groovis battery pack here. So if you want to use your Rokid on the go with your device, I highly recommend using a battery pack with it so that it doesn't suck up too much of your device juices and you get more runtime off of this. And also talking about this Groovis battery pack here, there's actually two components. So one is the power base module. And this is basically just like a battery pack. You can charge pretty much anything. So the USB-C port here is power out, so it gives power delivery, but also you can charge this using the same USB-C port. So it's just like power in and power out, which is pretty cool. And yeah, otherwise pretty similar to that mobile dock on the Viture. And yeah, this is the wireless cast module, which acts as kind of a mirror cast module. So yeah, I think that's why they have this IP here. So once you turn this one on, it kind of acts like a mirror cast point. So you can basically use your devices to wirelessly, you got to connect to the Wi-Fi network first, and then you can wirelessly cast your device display to the Rokid. And you connect your Rokid here via the Type-C port. So really, it's technically wireless, but you still got to carry around this mirrorcast point, I guess, to be able to receive the information from whatever you're casting. So yeah, it works with like laptops, phones, tablets, pretty much anything that has a mirrorcast app. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Also, Rokid does have a HDMI dongle that lets you connect to anything with HDMI out, but it's not ready yet from the Rokid store. So yeah, that's something that the Viture mobile dock has. It has a built-in HDMI in that lets you connect to anything that has HDMI. So Rokid still does not have that yet. I think they'll have it upcoming soon. It says it's coming up soon in their store. But that's just the FYI, guys. If you want to connect your HDMI devices right now, you can't. You have to use this wireless cast module, but it will be coming up soon. So something else I want to compare it to in this video is the Royal Moon, which is an old HMD headset that I have. So I've actually been into HMDs and video glasses and stuff like this for a long time. So back when I was in university, there was a product called the MyView Crystal. So it was made by a US company called MyView, doesn't exist anymore. They actually made these really cool pair of video glasses back then. And they were around the same size as these glasses actually. And they had a pair of mini displays inside these glasses that displayed DVD quality, so like 480i basically. And that was actually pretty impressive for the time. We're talking 2008. Also, they had a pair of built-in earphones, which I think were pretty decent quality for what they were at the time. This is like a long time ago. They actually made these video glasses with decent video quality, and they used component and composite cables because that's what the connectors were back then. And I remember hooking it up to my Xbox 360 with component cables, playing Mass Effect on it, and that was actually a really cool experience. Right, this is when I was in university. Honestly, one of the few electronic gadgets I splurged on in university because I didn't have much money back then. But they were a cool product. Like my View Crystal, guys, look them up. 2008 video glasses like these, and DVD quality, and was able to play my video games and watch movies on them. Really, really cool stuff. It wasn't until 2011 that I actually got into my next HMD, which was the Sony HMZ T1, and these were actually like, I would say, the first real HMDs that truly felt like you were watching, you know, in your own personal home cinema. So that was really, really cool. It wasn't portable. Like, they were kind of bulky. They had their own image processor that you had to set up and everything. But they were really cool. Yeah, I actually used it in my first apartment in San Francisco because it was too small to have a TV there. So that was the perfect use case for them, right? In a small apartment, no room for a TV, so I just got these like virtual video glasses that basically like had like a, you know, virtual cinema inside of them. So it's pretty cool, actually. Those Sony HMZ T1 HMDs were actually really, really cool. I think they had OLED technology back then. So Sony was definitely one of the first manufacturers, I would say, that actually produced a truly great HMD, where I played my PlayStation 3 using them all the time, actually. And yeah, that was actually a really cool experience. And they had 3D support, so I was able to like get some games to run in 3D. So that was a pretty cool experience back then, playing games on the Sony HMZ T1s and watching like 3D Blu-rays and stuff on it. Like, it was basically like having, yeah, like a home theater inside of a headset. So that's really cool. It's like a virtual cinema. And HMDs basically evolved into VR headsets now. So pretty much you just see VR headsets doing the same thing now. But yeah, back then, back in 2011, 2012, I mean, that was crazy for me. And then I actually bought the Sony HMZ T3s, which is the third generation of that headset. I actually did an unboxing video. It was one of my first unboxings on my channel. Really cool stuff. Yeah, like that one improved upon the HMZ T1s by having a little bit more mobile. Like, you don't have to have like a really heavy image processor anymore, where you have to be tethered to your device. But now you still have to carry around like some kind of like HDMI pack with you. So it's still not like too portable. You still got to carry around an HDMI processor pack or something, but at least it fits in your pocket now, instead of, you know, just being on top of your desktop and not really being, you know, wireless in any way. So yeah, I think the HMZ T3s kind of added a little bit of the wireless portable element to it. Still not really portable, but I would say it was a really good experience using that headset. This was about 10 years ago. Yeah, 2013 when I got that headset. So yeah, 10 years ago, Sony came out with all these really cool HMD headsets, and they really were one of the companies that really pushed this headset virtual image technology. I would say to a good point. They really developed it a lot. And yeah, the HMZ headsets were all really good, 1, 2, and 3. So I had 1 and 3. I think 2 was just an incremental upgrade over 1, just made the headset a bit lighter. Because originally the HMZ T1 headset was quite heavy. So the T2 made it a bit lighter. Then T3 added on the pseudo wireless thing, where you can use, instead of just being completely tethered with wires to the image processor, you just carry around this HDMI like battery pack thing. So yeah, I think those Sony headsets were pretty good for the time. So another one I want to talk about is the Google Glass, which I actually have worn before. Back when Google Glass came out as the Explorer Edition, I actually got the second version of it, I think. So I think Google Glass was actually pretty ahead of its time as a device. It was kind of like this pseudo AR type of smart glasses. Also had built-in Google Assistant, and not only could it, you know, display, you know, navigation and play YouTube and stuff like that, but it can also take pictures and record video. And I think that ended up being an issue with it, because a lot of people, you know, didn't want to be recorded and stuff like that. But actually, in order to record a video, like, you have to actually like talk to it, and it doesn't record that much video anyway. So I think people had the wrong idea about Google Glass. Like, just fact of the matter is, like, when you're talking to someone with Google Glass, it feels like they're, you know, taking pictures of you or recording you, but actually it doesn't actually reflect what it actually was, how it was used, right? So when people usually use Google Glass, it wasn't for that. It was really just to have something with Google Assistant on the go, maybe even to watch YouTube videos, or, you know, have like maps on the go. Like, you can't really take many pictures or record video on that anyways. Like, it doesn't have good battery life and there's not much storage space on it. So not many people were actually using it for that. But unfortunately, when people wore it, that's what other people thought you were doing with it. So unfortunately, I don't think Google Glass ever got the respect it deserved. I think it was a cool, like really cool gadget actually when it came out. So yeah, I guess that also counts as one of the HMDs, or one of the video glasses I had was Google Glass. Again, really cool device. I think it was ahead of its time and people didn't really give it much of a chance. And to be honest, the Google Glass even did things that the Viture and the Rokid right now can't do. Like, Rokid and the Viture can't do any Google Assistant stuff. It can't take pictures or record video. It can't display maps and stuff like that. It doesn't have its own built-in operating system. Doesn't have its own battery. So yeah, I think in many ways Google Glass was really ahead of its time, because it does stuff that even today's video glasses can't really do. Like, today's so-called AR glasses can't even do what Google Glass was doing like 10 years ago. And then after that, I tried a bunch of Chinese headsets and other headsets after that. Like the Royal Moon is basically the latest iteration of, I tried all these different headsets and I just decided that the Royal Moon is still the best one out of all those. I tried the Viture XR, which was an immersive headset, but it was just way too bulky for me. And then I tried the Glyph, which is a really cool HMD that kind of used the retina projection technology, which you will actually find in these glasses now. But that was back in 2015. So they really kind of are a pioneer of that retina display technology that you see in these video glasses now. So the Glyph had really sharp image quality, but it wasn't as immersive. So it's kind of like the Viture XR was immersive but bulky, and then the Glyph was not immersive, but the image was sharp, sharper than the Vuzix, I think, if I recall. And then I tried the DJI goggles, which are really meant for drones, but it actually had pretty decent image quality. Didn't try the DJI goggles 2 anymore, because I don't really play with drones anymore, but that would be interesting to check out too. And then I tried the Royal Moon, which I actually felt was the best out of all of them. Still have it now. That's what I will be comparing it to in this video. I also tried the DJI goggles, which is more of an HMD meant for controlling a drone, which I did try with my DJI Spark at the time, but it could also display any video from HDMI input. So yeah, you can hook it up to any HDMI device, and I believe the display was actually quite sharp for the time, so it was actually quite impressive. I think it was 1080p resolution. So yeah, that ended up being quite a decent device, surprisingly, right, for an HMD that was really meant for controlling drones. So yeah, the DJI goggles I remember being pretty decent. And then of course I tried a whole bunch of VR headsets. I actually had the original Oculus Rift dev kit, which came out in 2014. I think that was the second dev kit, and I had that one, and then I had the original Oculus Rift back in 2016, then I had Oculus Rift S, then I tried a whole bunch of other ones, HP Reverb G2, the Valve Index. Now I'm on the Oculus Quest 2, so I've tried a whole bunch of VR headsets as well. And I've also tried a few other ones like the Sonera HMD. The Sonera is also really good image quality. Unfortunately, the Sonera Edge, their new headset that was supposed to come out with Kickstarter, never got off the ground, and I lost some money because of that. But I did try the original Sonera headset, and I thought it was pretty good quality, but you had to be tethered to your desk and stuff. So it wasn't really portable in any way, but good image quality for that one. And then, yeah, the Groovis Lite, which I also tried, and the Groovis Lite wasn't, to me, it wasn't as impressive as I thought it would be, because it is one of the newer HMDs, but it wasn't like that much more impressive than my Royal Moon. So I think that's why I still kept my Royal Moon, because I still felt like the Royal Moon was overall provided the best package in terms of the sound quality and video quality. So that still hasn't been beat yet. So yeah, the Groovis Lite, even though it was lighter and a little bit more portable, the Royal Moon is still my choice of my current HMD, because it's still got the best package of video quality and audio quality. And it actually has its own built-in operating system as well, called Moon OS, which is kind of similar to Android TV, I guess. You do have to carry around this little HDMI processor thing, which is kind of similar to the Sony HMZ T3, which is, that's annoying, right? That's not as portable as you would want. But still, you know, to this day, I still find the Royal Moon the best experience, even compared to some of the newer HMDs like the Groovis. But now that we have these AR video glasses, it would be interesting to compare to these ones, because these are obviously a lot more portable than a full-size HMD. Now, I don't think the sound quality is going to be as as much as my Royals because those are full-size headphones built in. But I'm interested to see how the video quality will match up, because if they do match up to my Royals, then these are just, you know, a better choice because they're just way more portable and definitely less bulky, something that you can literally carry in your pocket. Whereas with the Royal, I got to carry that in my backpack if I want to travel with it. So anyways, we're going to move on to the comparison section. I'm going to test out the Viture XR glasses, the Rokid Max, and compare it to the Royal Moon as well, and use smartphone. I'm going to use a gaming handheld, and I'll be using the Nintendo Switch to test out all these different devices. Right, guys, so now I'm going to pretend I'm in like a plane or a train or just outside somewhere where in a situation where I want to use the Rokid or Viture glasses so I can have a bigger display on the go. Alright, so first we're going to try out the Viture XR glasses, and I'm going to tell you guys my reactions and my impressions of them. Okay, so it's like, yeah, this plane seat, yeah, the display on the plane seat isn't good enough, you know, it's not very good quality. I want to listen to some better audio too. I actually forgot my airplane phone adapter, headphone adapter. So yeah, I'm just going to take out my Viture glasses because these look pretty unintrusive and they look kind of like sunglasses. So I'm going to check them out. Alright, and I'm going to try this with 3 different devices. I got my smartphone, my Xperia right here, Nintendo Switch of course, we have to try it with that, and a gaming handheld. Now I'm going to use the GPD Win 4, and the reason for this is because the GPD Win 4 is probably the smallest, most powerful gaming handheld that I have. Compared to the ROG Ally and Steam Deck, it's pretty comparable. It also has a built-in keyboard, which is really, I think the built-in keyboard is really good for just navigating Windows, and when you're using like a virtual display like this, having a built-in keyboard to navigate Windows is definitely a boon, because, you know, normally if you're going to wear these glasses, how are you going to input stuff if it's just like a touchscreen, right? Like you're going to have like a virtual keyboard, like an on-screen keyboard, and you're going to do that at the same time you're wearing these glasses. I'd rather have a physical keyboard, right, while I'm wearing these things. So for those reasons, that's why I think the GPD Win 4 is a good choice for me. So yeah, I'm going to try it out with my smartphone first. I got some movies loaded up on my smartphone, and all I have to do is connect the cable to it. I think it's just plug and play. So magnetic charging thing here. Actually this is I actually don't know how this works. So this is a magnetic connection. So I don't know, I guess they're transferring some data in that, but it's pretty cool. They don't need a direct USB-C connection for that. Usually magnetic connections are just for charging, but this one apparently carries data somehow, which is cool. Alright, so I connected to my smartphone, and it should just work. I don't need any batteries for these glasses. Alright, this is how they look, and yeah, it just shows up. So it's like the screen is like floating in front of me. Let's watch a movie here. I'll pull out. I'll also show you guys exactly what it looks like inside these lenses in a bit. But yeah, first I'm going to just pop a movie in here, and you guys can see what it looks like with me wearing them, and tell you guys my impressions of the display and the speakers. Okay, so right now I guess it's in AR mode, and I use AR in quotes because it's not really AR, but it's kind of just like a floating display in front of you, and everything is very transparent behind the display. So right now, yeah, right now I can see basically everything behind the display, and it's a little bit distracting because I can't really focus on the image when everything is like transparent. Yeah, I can turn the brightness up to full. And I'm going to switch it to VR mode, which is by pressing this one here. Okay, so when I press VR mode, it's not really VR, right? It's just kind of darkening. I think this uses some kind of electrochromatic film or something, but it's some kind of interesting technology where it's like, okay, when I press the VR and AR mode, AR mode makes everything like transparent behind the virtual display, and VR mode kind of darkens things around the display, so it's a little bit more immersive. So yeah, I think I won't really use the AR mode that often. I don't really see the use case for me, because why would I want everything to be seen, you know, behind the display? It's really distracting. So if I want to be focusing on the virtual display inside of here, I'm pretty much always going to use VR mode because it darkens out everything around the display. But it's not totally dark. So like if I really want to see things around me, I can, because it's still kind of transparent. But it just darkens things a little bit more compared to the AR mode, which is just you see everything around you very clearly. So yeah, I think that's the biggest difference between these two modes. The AR mode, yeah, everything is like basically transparent, completely transparent. The display is transparent, you can see behind the display. It's very distracting. VR mode, things are darkened around the display, so it's a bit better, more immersive, but it's still not totally immersive because I can still see kind of what's going on behind the display. I guess it's a pro and a con, right? If you want to know what's going on around you, it's nice, but it's a con in that if you really want to be immersed, then it's still kind of distracting. You can still see, like, for example, I put my hand here, I can still see my hand behind this virtual display, even in VR mode. Just in AR mode, you can see it a lot. Everything is like transparent AR modes. Yeah, in my experience, this kind of retinal projection technology results in very sharp images, and I think it's better than just sticking a pair of OLEDs or LCDs in front of your eyes, like the way that Sony or Vuzix, those are the way, actually my Royal Moon does that too, so I can compare that later, but I think this image is more sharper, the way that it uses the projection technology. So if you want a really sharp image, I think this is the way to go. However, the claims are a 120-inch display for around 10 feet away. I think that's about accurate. But I have to mention that the display is not as big as you would expect at like sitting in like a cinema, right? So in terms of being like a virtual cinema, I think my Royal Moon had a bigger virtual display inside of here. This one, yeah, it's just like a big TV in your living room, and you're sitting from like, you know, regular distance away from the couch. That's what it really feels like. So yeah, image is very good. The quality is very sharp, good contrast. I mean, it is using micro OLEDs and everything, so good blacks. Colors seem fairly natural, so that's good. The speakers are pretty decent. They're not great though. I mean, these are speakers from glasses, right? So compared to my Razer Anzu, I think my Razer Anzu is still a little bit better, but those are glasses focused on audio. This one is more focused on video, of course. Yeah, but the audio is okay. It's probably equivalent to my Oculus Quest 2, which is like my VR headset with built-in speakers. Yeah, it's probably similar to my Oculus Quest 2, which is to say it's just okay. It's you're not gonna you're not gonna think it's like full-size headphones or even wireless earbuds, but it's okay just for watching movies or playing some games. It's at an okay, like, decent amount of volume, and it's got okay clarity. So it's just okay, I guess, the speakers. Video quality, very good. It's just, I wish I wish that the virtual display was a little bit bigger, and I wish it wasn't so transparent. Like, it doesn't have blockers for these glasses. They don't come with any blockers, so I can see what's going on like around me, and even in this VR mode, I can still kind of see that. So it's a little bit distracting. But yeah, otherwise it's fairly impressive, I'd say. I'm gonna try it with my GPD Win 4 now. So that was just watching a movie. I'm gonna play some games on my GPD Win 4, and I think this one should just work because it's Windows. With the Nintendo Switch, I actually need that mobile dock accessory. And I actually just want to see what it looks like with the desktop, right? See how well I can see like the little icons, the text, and everything. So I'm just gonna plug it in like this, and it should just work. Okay, yeah, it just shows up. Nice. So yeah, anything with USB-C display port out, it should just work. Plug and play. But of course, it uses your device's battery. So yeah, especially works well with the GPD Win 4 because I have the physical keyboard. Like I said, if you use this with a Steam Deck or ROG Ally, you don't have this physical keyboard, so imagine like an on-screen touch keyboard on this virtual display. It's not going to be a good experience. That's why the Win 4 or the Win 3, but the Win 4 is actually the best because it's physical keys. Yeah, this is a really good pairing, probably the best pairing for gaming handhelds with these glasses. Because yeah, you have a physical keyboard, you can actually type stuff in, and it's Windows, so you really do need to use that physical keyboard sometimes. So yeah, overall, I like the display quality. It's very sharp, colors are good, contrast is good. Yeah, like I said, the main issues I would have is it's a little bit smaller than I was expecting. It's just really like watching a big screen TV in your living room, essentially, but no bigger than that. Speakers are just okay, and it's fairly comfortable. I mean, Linus Tech Tips actually did a recent video about this, the Viture XR glasses, and they said you get nausea whenever like you move your head or whatever, and they were like knocking it because you get nausea so easily. I don't experience any nausea because most of the time when you're playing games, you're not going to be moving your head like all the time or whatever, right? So it's a floating display. Sure, when you stand up or you move your head around a lot, you're gonna feel a little bit, you know, motion sickness or whatever, but you're not gonna do that too much when you're playing a game. My use case for this, lying on a couch like this or on my bed like this, right, playing a game. That's my main use case. So why would I be moving my head too much to get, like, I don't get any kind of nausea for me. It's fine for me. So yeah, it's unfortunate that they trashed this device, and people are going to be looking at that video and thinking, oh, it's a crap device because you get nausea constantly. But you're not going to be moving your head constantly when you're playing games. So one thing I will have to note is that the diopter adjustments, you really have to be pretty precise with this, because first, the way I do it, it's kind of like one virtual display comes forward on one side and the other one comes forward on the other side, and they go back and forth until you get them to match up. That's basically how the dioptrics work on here. So you kind of have to fiddle with them for a while to get the display clear enough for your eyes. But once you do that, it's fine. It's fairly sharp, and I like the image. So yeah, some people say it's too finicky, but I think once you get it dialed in, you don't need to adjust it anymore. You only need to do it one time, really, and it's good. So all in all, I think this is a pretty cool technology. Also, I think you have to like kind of focus your eyes on the image, because the image, like, there is a little bit of separation there at the beginning. So once you focus on the image, then it's better, and then your eyes. I mean, it looks pretty good after that. So you get your eyes used to it. Yeah, again, I don't experience any kind of like nausea or anything like what Linus Tech Tips was saying. I'm totally fine. Even just moving my head around a little bit is okay, but you're not going to move it around a lot, right? So why do you need to do that when you're playing a game, right? So it's just moving around a little bit is fine, but usually I just keep my head like this on the couch or on the bed, totally fine. Yeah, so that's what the GPT went for. So yeah, with these glasses, it's kind of a pro and a con that you can see so much around you. So the pro is that it's easy to see what's going around you. So I don't even need to take these glasses off. I can just see what I'm doing here. Yeah, because this, I can see pretty much what's going on around me, and I don't need to take them off or anything. The con being that it's not as immersive when you're actually watching video or playing games. Alright, so now I'm going to use the Nintendo Switch, and I have to use the mobile dock accessory for that, because the Nintendo Switch has to be plugged in and charging at the same time in order to output video. So I have to do this. Turn it on first. I'm using an OLED switch, by the way. Okay, and just plug it into the mobile dock accessory right here, and then I'll plug in my Viture glasses into here, and it should just show up. And by the way, guys, if you use it with your Nintendo Switch, do not use it with any kind of attachable controller. So don't use your Joy-Cons, don't use the Hori Split Pad Compact, which is what I had before, because when the Nintendo Switch thinks it's docked, it will actually disable the controllers that's attached to it. So you can't really use those controllers while it's attached to the Nintendo Switch if you're outputting to this display. So I have to use a Nintendo wireless controller basically for this. Because yeah, it thinks it's docked in, right? So it will disable any kind of controller that's actually attached to it. I have to use wireless. But once you do, it shows up fine. So yeah, now I can play the Switch. Yeah, like I said, the audio quality is okay on this. The speakers are okay. And I'll show you guys later what's actually happening on this display. I think you can kind of see it. But yeah, it's a pretty good experience so far. Not bad. One thing is I have to like kind of squint up a little bit because this display is like a little bit high. This virtual display is a little bit high up, so I have to kind of angle it down sometimes so I can see the top of the virtual display. So yeah, it's a little bit hard to see the top of the virtual display, but other than that, I think the image clarity is quite good, and the image itself is quite good. Yeah, just yeah, the top is like a little bit hard to see. I kind of have to like really angle my eyes up to see it. Alright, so here is the virtual display of the Viture XR glasses. You guys can kind of see this is what it displays. Of course, it's a lot better than this when you actually put it on. I'll try to give you guys a representation because it is actually projecting the display inside of these lenses here. And you guys can hear the speakers as well. So this is max volume actually, because the volume is actually controlled by the source device. So yeah, it's okay. It doesn't get too loud. I guess it's going to be an acceptable volume for most people at max volume, but I have a feeling that you might not want to put it below max volume because it isn't too loud. So you basically just leave it on max volume all the time, and then that's fine. But yeah, it doesn't really get too loud. But you can see the image here, right? That's basically how it does it. This is a Nintendo Switch game. Alright, so those are the Viture XR glasses. I have to say overall I'm fairly impressed with them. They're definitely an upgrade over a lot of HMDs I've tried before. It's clearly different than my Royal Moon, right? Obviously it's a lot more lighter and portable, so compared to my previous HMDs, they were bulky devices that you wear on your head, similar to VR headsets. This is a lot more lighter and portable, and the image quality is as good or better actually than the HMDs I've tried before. So pretty impressive overall. Yeah, I really like the interesting technology where it has like the ability to kind of darken these lenses when you press the AR mode and VR mode. Of course, that's a cool technology, but I'm not sure how practical it actually is, because most of the time I'll just use this in VR mode anyways. I don't know who would use the AR mode, because when you're using AR mode, everything's just totally like transparent. Even the display is transparent, so it's very distracting. And I don't know, maybe in the future there's some AR games and stuff that can make use of that, but it's basically just like a floating display. But since it's transparent, it's like, okay, what am I supposed to focus on, right? Whereas the VR mode darkens the area around the display, so at least you can get some immersion, and you can still see what's going on around you, but at least you get better immersion that way. So I'd probably just use the VR mode all the time with these things. Overall, the image quality, I like it, very sharp. Yeah, good contrast and everything. It's a little bit on the small side, I guess, because just like watching a big TV in your living room, and the speakers are just okay, similar to my Oculus Quest 2, which is just, you know, it's just okay. That's really it. I think overall, pretty nice device. So don't just go watching, you know, Linus Tech Tips and thinking that this is like trash or whatever, because I really don't get any nausea when I use this device, and most of the time I'm just like lying down, right, on the couch, or, you know, pretend this is a plane, right? I'm lying on the plane. Like, when are you going to move your head or sit down, you know, stand up that much? You're not playing a VR game or anything with these things, so I don't know what they're talking about. But for me, yeah, I'm totally fine with these things. They're actually pretty nice. And I don't know about the appearance, but as you can see, it's looks like a pair of weird Ray-Bans. Obviously, like, you can tell it's not just a normal pair of sunglasses, but yeah, and it's fairly comfortable, I'd say. I can see myself wearing this for maybe an hour or so. I don't think I'll wear this for several hours, but you're not supposed to anyways. So anyways, fairly comfortable, I'd say. I haven't changed out the nose pads yet. But yeah, that's the Viture XR glasses, and works well with the mobile dock. Like, it says it works with the Nintendo Switch and powers the Switch as well, and that's what it does. So, works well. No issues there. Magnetic connection is a pro and a con, right? Some people think it's proprietary or whatever, but it also makes it very easy to connect and disconnect. So that's another thing. It doesn't really get in the way when you're using it. Alright, so that's the Viture XR glasses. I'm going to compare it now with the Rokids. Okay, so the Rokid Air Max. Let's try these guys out and compare it with the Vitures. Okay, so I just happen to have another pair of video glasses on this flight. Let's try it out. Okay, and this one actually you have to plug in a USB-C cable. I actually like the magnetic connector on the Viture. I mean, it's a little bit easier to connect, but you know, that's a nitpick. Alright, do the same thing, try it out with my phone, and again, it should just work. It's just a plug and play thing, and it gets powered off of my phone. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so, yeah, just works, and let's put a movie on. Alright, so the virtual display on the Rokids is definitely a little bit bigger than on the Vitures. So they say it's like a 215-inch display from like 10 meters away. Yeah, it's kind of like, this one's definitely more like sitting in like a cinema somewhere, and you can see like a bigger display. So yeah, compared to the Viture is like sitting in a living room with like a nice big TV, and you're sitting on the couch. The Rokid, yeah, you're actually sitting in a cinema, in a theater, with like a big screen in front of you, and you're sitting sort of to the front center of the cinema, I guess. So it's kind of like that. The actual display image quality itself is very similar to the Vitures. I would say it's just as sharp. The colors look different though. I'm not sure which one's more accurate, but the colors definitely look maybe like a little bit more washed out on the Rokids. Yeah, so I think the Viture's colors maybe a little bit better. I like better, but they're pretty similar. I'm not saying there's a huge difference between the two. If I were just to nitpick, probably the Viture's has like a little bit better color and the contrast, but it's a very minor difference. Yeah. Also, yeah, this floating display in front of you, it's basically very similar to the Viture's floating display in VR mode. But it's a little bit transparent at the same time, so you can kind of see what's going on around you. So yeah, just like on the Viture, you can kind of see that the virtual display is kind of floating in front of you, but you can kind of see what's going on behind you as well, which means it's not that immersive. And for this reason, I think it's better to use that shield, yeah, that they have here. So normally, if you wear these Rokids, the Rokid Max, yeah, you're still going to see what's going on around you, so I would say that's still a little bit distracting for me. I want to have it more immersive, so at least they give you a blocker. With the Vitures, they don't even have that. So at least the Rokids, there's a blocker accessory you can use. Once I use this, definitely, yeah, this is definitely an improvement. Yeah, so this one, everything else is totally blocked out, and it is really like you're sitting inside a virtual theater somewhere watching a movie by yourself. I mean, watching the display by yourself. So yeah, that's pretty good actually. Pretty good. So yeah, display quality about similar to the Vitures, only it's definitely bigger. And the speaker is actually pretty good. So let me just confirm that again. Yeah, I have to turn it up to full volume actually. Actually, I would say the volume on here at around 8 is about similar to the Viture's max volume. So once I turn it up to 10, it's louder than the Viture's. Yeah, so actually the speakers on here definitely get louder than the Viture's if I turn it up to max. So that's pretty good speakers actually. I would say that these speakers are fairly similar to the Razer Anzu speakers, which is that's actually like high praise because the Razer Anzus are specifically meant as audio glasses. Alright, so let's use it with my Win 4 now. Plug and play should just work. Alright, shows up. Alright, so yeah, obviously, yeah, I can see all the text pretty clearly and everything. Again, I don't feel much nausea when I move my head around, although you shouldn't really be moving your head around a lot anyways when you're playing games. But yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, the display quality is pretty similar overall to the Vitures, I would say. Yeah, the only major difference to me is the size of the virtual display inside of here is definitely bigger than the Vitures. And that's the only major difference. Otherwise, the actual quality itself is very similar. They both use the same, like, I think they both use the same Sony panel actually, 1080p micro OLEDs. So not a huge difference in the actual display quality itself. Just this one is bigger. How much bigger? I would say maybe like 15% bigger. 15%, maybe 20% bigger. Yeah, it's not like a huge difference, right, in the size of this virtual display, but it's like maybe 20% bigger for sure. And then the speakers are definitely louder on the Rokids. So yeah, that's the two main big differences I notice. But yeah, it works fine with the GPD Win 4. Definitely can see my desktop fine. Yeah, I mean, I can even probably use this for reading web pages and stuff even, because all the text and stuff just shows up pretty well. Not bad. Alright, Now I'm going to use this with the Nintendo Switch. And for the Nintendo Switch, I need to use that little Rokid hub. Okay, so actually I need to use both the Rokid hub and the Groovis battery pack for this, because the Nintendo Switch actually will not work unless it's plugged into a power source in order to do a video output. So I'm going to use this battery pack. That's probably why the Viture needed to combine the Nintendo Switch functionality with the mobile dock, because the Nintendo Switch needs to be powered in order to give video output. So yeah, basically I'm gonna take this Rokid mobile hub, and this thing allows you to charge your device and input your Rokid glasses at the same time. It's necessary for the Switch. So I'm taking my Groovis battery pack hub right here, and I'm plugging it in. Plug it in here. So this one is giving power up the battery hub. Okay, and yeah, and now I can plug it into the Switch. Okay, plug in like this, and I'm going to plug in the other USB input goes into my Rokids. Like this. So yeah, basically you have to set it up like that. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, just like with the Viture, you need to carry around this mobile dock accessory to plug into the Switch. In order to do it with the Rokids, you need this Rokid hub plus a battery pack. Alright, and once you have that, then you can play on the Switch. And again, I need to use my wireless controllers for this. All these cables. Shoot. Okay. Give me the blockers on. Alright. Okay, so yeah, my wireless controller, and play some games. Okay, one annoying thing about the Rokid is every time I plug it into a new device, I have to turn up the volume again. It always resets back to 5. But when I turn it up to 10, it actually gets pretty decently loud. And I'll show you guys this after, just like with the Vitures. But it actually gets pretty decently loud, and yeah, basically it's pretty nice. Yeah, so I like it. This is a pretty nice pair of glasses, I'd say. The speakers are definitely better than the Vitures, I think. So yeah, I'll show you guys what's happening inside the display and the speakers as well. Alright, so I don't know how well you guys can see that, but there's definitely a virtual display inside of here, and it turns off automatically if I'm not wearing this. So basically I have to put it on my forehead, and then it'll basically show up, and yeah, you guys can see, and then it disappears after a while if you don't have the glasses on. So it's kind of hard to show you like with the Viture, but you guys can kind of see that projection of that image, right? Turn it on again. Yep, see that projection of the image inside there? Oh, and it's gone. And you guys can maybe hear the speakers at least. The speakers are quite loud. Definitely louder than the Vitures. Yeah. Alright, so overall with the Rokids, I'm pretty impressed with these as well. Yes, you also have to adjust the diopters and get the viewing distance correct, just like with the Vitures. But you know, once you do that, it's a pretty nice display inside of here. It's just as sharp as the Vitures. I think the colors might be a little bit different than the Vitures. I'm not sure which one's more accurate. I think the Vitures might have a little bit better contrast, a little bit like better. The colors are not as washed out. But that's like a very minor thing. Like, we really have to kind of like A/B between the two to really see that. Overall, the image quality for the Rokids are just as sharp and clear as the Vitures. However, the main difference is the Rokid's virtual display is a little bit bigger. So it really does feel like you're in kind of like a small theater looking on not an IMAX size screen, but just like a regular theater screen. But it's definitely bigger than the Vitures, whereas I feel like with the Vitures you're just sitting in a living room with like a nice big TV. With the Rokids, yeah, it's like a small theater. And the speakers are definitely like louder. It gets up to, if you put it up to max volume, it gets up to 10, and then it gets pretty loud. Also, you get these like light blockers, which kind of makes it much more immersive than the Vitures actually. Vitures don't have any kind of blockers, Once you put these blockers on, it gets fairly immersive and yeah, way more than the Vitures. If you don't have them on, then it's pretty similar. And yeah, this pretty comfortable, I'd say. Just as comfortable as the Vitures. No issues there, no nausea for me. Yeah, overall, pretty good fit for me. I'm using the default nose pads too. So, these are around the same price as the Vitures. Yeah, I'd say like I'm starting to like the Rokids actually. And the Rokid even has like a smaller hub for connecting to the switch. You don't need to have a huge battery pack like this, but you do need to carry a battery pack, but you can use any battery pack you want. You don't have to use that one. And yeah, that's the thing. If you want to play with your switch, you have to use this dock for the Vitures, whereas you can use any battery pack with the Rokid. Yeah, other than that, I think the main thing for me is just the bigger virtual display and the speakers. It is a little bit annoying that you have to reset the volume back to max every time. And it has a sensor. When you take it off, it kind of shuts down that virtual display, so it knows when you put it on or not. So that's this feature that the Viture actually doesn't have. So anyways, it's pretty cool. And it looks and appearance-wise, I mean, if you have these blockers on, I guess it looks futuristic, right? Like you're a Men in Black or something when you're wearing this. Overall, they're both obviously based on sunglasses. They're heavier than sunglasses, and yeah, I would say most of the time these are just way more convenient and comfortable and stylish compared to traditional HMDs. So both of these are I think much more practical than the traditional HMDs that you wear over your head. And yeah, I would say they're both around the same style-wise. It's just like this one's more like a Ray-Ban, this one's more like an Oakley, but yeah, it depends which style you prefer. Overall, I think I like the Rokids a little bit better. And it charges with the USB-C. Not quite as convenient as the magnetic connector, but it does allow you to use more accessories, I think. So yeah, the Viture, the only benefit, if you really like that AR mode, I don't know who would really use it, but you have that really fully transparent mode with the Vitures. And I think the color and the contrast are a little bit better on the Vitures, but I still prefer the Rokid with the blockout shades and the fact that they have a bigger virtual display. The diopters go to -60 instead of -5, so it goes a little bit further. The speakers get louder. So overall, I think I actually prefer the Rokid Max a little bit more. And I don't have the Nreal Airs. I can't compare against the Nreal Airs, but the Nreal Airs did come out earlier than these two, so these two do have better specs on paper anyways, so I don't think the Nreal Airs will be as good, specifications wise. They have a bigger community, that's about it. But I think these glasses should be able to beat the Nreal Airs in terms of the specs. And this has 120 Hz refresh, I forgot about that. 120 Hz refresh rate on this virtual display, which is double the 60 Hz on the Vitures. So that's another reason to get the Rokids. So yeah, out of these two, I would personally pick the Rokids. But they're close. You know, the image quality itself, pretty good on both of them. As good as any HMD I've ever tried. So that's pretty impressive, right? So yeah, in terms of the actual display quality for both of these, they're both pretty good. Just I would probably prefer the Rokids a little bit more for the everything that I mentioned, right? The louder speakers and the bigger virtual display being the main reasons. But also the 120 Hz refresh and the blocker shades as well. So just for like an additional use case, just so you guys know what this looks like, say I want to use my Viture XR glasses but I don't like the built-in speakers, I can use a pair of over-ear headphones. So these are my Bowers & Wilkins PX7 S2s. The color just seems to match well with the Vitures. So yeah, basically what I do is I plug in this one. The Vitures is like magnetic connector here. So it'll look like this, and then you just put in the over-ears. And yeah, this is probably what I would do on a flight, right? If I don't want to listen to the built-in speakers of the Viture because they're not that great, then have a pair of noise-canceling headphones like this. And then this is what it would look like on like a flight or something. And then say I'm in like business class or whatever, and I just lie back down like this. And then you'd be, yeah, say you like playing a game or something like that. I recommend using wireless controllers, by the way, if you're going to be playing any kind of gaming handheld. It's just far more convenient than using any kind of built-in controllers. So, yeah, like this. That's what it would look like with over-ear headphones. additional use case, what if you want to use wireless earbuds? So say I'm using my Rokid Maxes and I want to use wireless earbuds because even though the Rokid has decent speakers, but it's still not as good as a wireless earbud, so, or at least a top-end wireless earbud, I should say. So yeah, plug in the Rokid Max like this, and I have my Viture Hammerhead True Wireless Pros here. Just pop them in, or if you have AirPods, you know, I think AirPods will still be an upgrade over these speakers probably. So yeah, or AirPods Pro, you gotta have the noise canceling, but I like these Viture Hammerhead True Wireless because they have pretty good noise canceling. So yeah, you look like this. Again, lying back in business class, playing the game like this. But the thing is, you gotta have the battery dock for the Nintendo Switch, right? So it's like, yeah, but if you don't use Nintendo Switch, just GPD Win or Steam Deck or whatever, just have it plugged in like this. And again, recommend using a wireless controller, but you can also use the built-in controller like this. Yeah, so that's pretty much what that would look like. The gaming experience with wireless earbuds or over-ear headphones. So just to give you guys another point of comparison, this is what we had before. If we wanted to watch a movie or play a game on the go in like a train or a bus or a plane somewhere, and we want to have a mobile theater, basically this is what we had. This is a full-size HMD head-mounted display, and this is, yeah, basically what you had before these video glasses came out. I mean, they had video glasses before, but they weren't that good. They were just okay. Like the MyView Crystals were pretty good for the time. But if you want to have a real, like, decent mobile theater experience, you wanted to get a full size. You had to get a full size HMD actually before. The Sony HMZ headsets, the Vuzix, the Avigant Glyph. I've tried all that stuff. Even the DJI goggles I've tried, and the Guvis stuff. This is the Royal Moon. So this is a Chinese company. They came out with this HMD back in 2016. I've compared it against a whole bunch of other HMDs, the ones I mentioned, the Sonera, the Guvis, you know, the Avigant, the Sonys, and I actually preferred this one the best. I thought this one has its own built-in operating system, actually called Moon OS, which is similar to Android TV, and you can play. Yeah, you can play like basically like movies and TV shows. You can do a lot of stuff actually using the built-in OS. It's almost, yeah, just like Android TV. So you have your streaming apps and Netflix and stuff like that on there. And you can watch YouTube and stuff. But you can also plug it into any HDMI source, like a gaming console and stuff, and then you can experience it like that. Which for me was, you know, ideal if I'm alone in like a studio apartment with no space for a big screen TV. Then this could be an option. Or if I'm flying on a plane somewhere and I want to have a mobile theater, then this is what I would use. But this is what we had before, so you can compare the size, right? It's like, now you get glasses which are like this, thanks to Nreal kind of bring this market into the spotlight. Or back before those glasses, you had to use something like this, a full-size HMD. Which is, I mean, it's portable technically, but it's also not very portable. You kind of had to fit this in a backpack. Whereas with these glasses, you can literally just carry them in your pocket, which is crazy, right? Now you have about the same video quality as, I would say similar video quality to these full-size HMDs, but you can carry it in your pocket now, which is nice. But yeah, I kind of just want to test out these Royal Moons again. It's been a while since I used them, and I will tell you guys my impressions compared to the Viture and the Rokids. All right. So yeah, the Royal Moon HMD, by the way, this is what it looks like. It looks quite similar to a VR headset, and basically VR headsets is what the HMDs evolved into eventually. If you can still like buy full-size HMDs, they're just called VR headsets now because they can do a lot more than just display video. You can actually play VR games with them. This one has eye adjustments right here and diopters, so similar to the glasses, except this one can actually adjust for the space in between your eyes, which I don't think that the glasses can do. So yeah, you can actually adjust between space between your eyes in addition to the diopters. Also 2D, 3D mode, which by the way, I never talked about that because I don't have any 3D content right now. But if you long press on the small button here on both of these glasses, you'll go into 3D mode. So if you have a 3D source, then yeah, just rest assured that both of these glasses can do 3D, like side-by-side 3D, I think. And yeah, just have to long press on the small button here on the arms. Both of them can do 3D. And the Royal Moon can do 3D as well. It has a dedicated 2D 3D button right here. And this is also 1080p OLED panels inside of here, AMOLED actually. And then you have the menu button here on the side, and this actually has touch controls, so if you want to adjust the volume, you actually use your finger to adjust the volume here, which is pretty cool, I guess. And yeah, this is, I would say the main big difference you notice is this giant headphone that's built in, right? And this is actually a pretty decent pair of noise cancelling headphones that they actually built into this. Also, you have to carry around something similar to a battery pack. It's not really a battery pack, but it's kind of like an HDMI image processor thing. So this thing is kind of like a hub. It controls the Royal Moon. You got to plug the HDMI into it, and you got to plug the this cable in from the Royal Moon, and then you plug in your HDMI source. And yeah, right now I have to use a HDMI to USB-C converter if I want to do the same thing as the Viture and the Rokid. So basically, this is what you need for the old school HMDs to connect to something. Whereas now you can just use one USB-C cable. So yeah, definitely this is less portable. You have to use like this kind of device. Even the old school Sony HMZ headsets you had to carry around. Oh, actually the HMZ T3 you had to carry around something like this. So it's pretty similar to that. Oh man, okay. So I'm going to use this, typical use case with this is, I use this for playing games sometimes, but I actually use it more for watching movies. So, and that was a while ago. I haven't used this for a while. So let's put this on and I'll show you guys my impressions, and also at the same time you guys can see what a dork I look like wearing these compared to wearing these glasses. See, this looks a lot more nerdy than wearing like a pair of those glasses, right? I mean, those glasses, fine, they look like weird sunglasses, but look at this, right? You look like that guy from Star Trek. So this is what we had before. Alright, I'm gonna turn it on. I got a long press on this to turn it on. This is like the on button basically is controlled through here. Adjust my diopters and my eyes. Oh man, okay. So what I have to say about this is that the sound quality, of course, is better on this thing because it has actually built-in oversized noise-canceling headphones, which are actually pretty decent. So that's actually pretty impressive. Yep, so it's connected to my display here. Okay, so I kind of control the interface using the touch controls, like I said. You can control the volume, but also you can play pause just by touching it. So yeah, this interface is pretty cool. Like it's its own built-in operating system. Okay, so the display inside of this device is pretty similar overall in terms of the size, I would say, to the Rokid Max. Like it really does feel like you're sitting in the middle of a cinema by yourself, like kind of like front center of a cinema by yourself, and you're watching like a really big cinema display. So I think it's kind of similar to the Rokid Max, the actual display size inside of here. So it's like a 200-inch display from like 10 meters away, essentially. So it's pretty nice, and this uses AMOLED 1080p panels, so pretty nice. I would say the image quality is pretty similar to the Rokids. Yeah, I would say this is probably most similar to the Rokids. Yeah, the image is quite big. It's sharp. Colors and stuff are good. Just the only difference being that this is obviously a lot larger of a device. Sound quality, of course, of this is better because it has full-size headphones instead of built-in speakers. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Even all these years later, this is a device from 2016. All these years later, it's still pretty good. It's just the bulkiness of this device is holding it back from adoption, of course. So yeah, that's the Royal Moon. So I don't know how well you guys can see that, but in this one does not use projection technology. It really is just a pair of small displays built into this. So yeah, you can tell. Yeah, so this one, yeah, it's just a pair of small displays. But the sound quality is very good because it uses a pair of full-size noise-canceling headphones, so you don't even need to use over-ears or wireless in-ears with this one because it has already a good pair of headphones built in. Yeah, I don't know. You can't see it that well, obviously, but But yeah, it is something like this that you see inside of this mobile theater. And then I can even show you the operating system. If I double click on the little menu button, I can go back and you guys can see sort of what this operating system looks like. Yeah, here we go. You guys can sort of see. I can adjust the volume like this. Yeah, I can adjust the volume like this by just touching my finger along the side here, so it's touch sensitive, and I can also navigate just by swiping my finger along the edge. And this is basically the built-in operating system here called Moon OS. And you can see there's YouTube, there's videos and stuff, HDMI input. You can actually store some files on here, I believe, and play it from there, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, there's some built-in apps on there. Alright, so in conclusion, obviously compared to the old school HMD headsets, the full-size ones, the new AR glasses are a lot more convenient, and they provide just as good image quality as those old school HMDs, but they're way more portable and way more practical. The only major advantage I would say of these ones, yeah, you have much better audio because a lot of these old school HMDs have built-in headphones, so obviously it's much better than having those small speakers on the glasses. But at the same time, it's not as flexible because, like, if you don't want to use this, then you know you're out of luck. Or there's sometimes they do have built-in like 3.5mm jacks where you can use your own, but then you know you have to carry around some more stuff. So overall, I would say there's not as much reason to use these anymore. I mean, it's interesting from just a gadget, you know, engineering perspective for me, since I'm a gadget collector. I'm interested in electronics and electronic history. It's cool from a historical perspective to see these HMDs, which have now evolved into VR headsets. You don't really see too much of these anymore. I think the only ones still actively making these full-size HMDs that only play video, probably Guvis. That's it. And I tried the Guvis Lite. It's not that much better than the Royal Moon. But yeah, overall, the market for full-size HMDs like this have pretty much dried up. And you need to carry around like all this stuff. Technically it was portable, you could use it on a plane or train or something, but you have to carry around like a backpack basically to do all that, because there was yeah, like this is how bulky it was, right? And then when you wear it, people are obviously, you know, gonna be like, you're gonna get some, you know, attention wearing something like this, so that's another thing. But it can play from any HDMI device, including video game consoles and stuff. Whereas with these glasses, you have to carry around something else to do that, but that's to be expected. Overall, these are definitely the future, right? These AR, VR glasses, I don't really call them AR, VR glasses because I don't think you can play VR or AR with them yet. Maybe in the future you can, maybe the developing stuff, but right now these are just strictly video glasses at least. The current capabilities anyway. I know Nreal has released some AR applications and stuff. So yeah, maybe Viture and Rokid will release some of that as well. I think they are releasing some AR stuff, but for now they're video glasses, and they are actually a much better option than the old school HMDs for playing video. So these are just simple, right? You plug them into any USB-C device, it outputs video, it just works, and it even works with the Switch, which the Royal Moon doesn't work with the Switch at all. And if you want to connect to HDMI, Rokid is soon releasing an HDMI dongle that you can use to connect to any HDMI device that you have. And Viture already has it, right, with the mobile dock. So you can already connect any HDMI source with it. So pretty much that's the only advantage really of the Royal gone. And if you want a better quality sound, you just put on a pair of like wireless headphones or wireless earbuds, and then that fixes your sound issue. So yeah. And then out of these two, I think, yeah, the video quality between these two is very, very close. I think the Viture might have a little bit better colors and contrast, whereas the Rokids seem a little bit washed out, but it's not a huge difference. They're both very sharp, very good video quality, very comparable to my Royal Moon, which is a much bigger headset. Sound quality wise, the Rokids win. The Rokids get louder. I would say at 8, volume level 8 is about the same as the max volume on the Vitures, and then when you go to 10, these ones are a lot louder. These ones also have a little bit more of a diopter adjustment. It goes to -6. Also comes with this blocker shield, which makes it more immersive compared to the Vitures. Vitures are not that immersive actually, even on the VR mode it's not that immersive. But these at least have the shield. And then these ones have a the virtual display inside of it is a little bit bigger, so it's actually almost like sitting in a cinema, whereas the Viture seem like you're just sitting on a couch watching like a nice big screen TV. So I would say the Rokids for me, the Rokid Max, I think are my preference because of that bigger virtual display, because of the fact that you know, it has better speakers. And also the fact that it has 120 hertz refresh as well. If you're playing video games and stuff, that it does matter, right? So anyways, pretty close, similar price. I would say the Rokid Max wins by a slight margin because of those things that I mentioned. Another difference is that the old school HMDs actually use physical display panels inside of the headsets. That's part of the reason why they're so much bigger. So yeah, this one, like the old school Sonys, the GI goggles, Vuzix headsets, they all were like that. But nowadays, when you have these glasses, you basically have the retinal projection technology, which the Avian Glyph actually kind of pioneered. So I think this is the way to do it from now on. You don't need as much space, right? So that's why you can actually put it inside these glasses. Whereas, you know, old school HMDs, you actually had to have physical lenses. But these have pretty much evolved into VR headsets now anyways, and VR headsets do so much more. So there's really almost no reason to get a full-size HMD anymore. So yeah, and like I said, the only player left in the market because of this is Guvis, and I've already tried their headsets, and I don't think honestly they're better than these glasses in terms of display quality, except that they're bulkier, so there's no reason to go for them. But overall, there's more similarities than differences between these two. I mean, if you're looking for a pair of video glasses on the market right now, you really can't go wrong with these two. I mean, they're both the same weight, similar price, they both have very good video quality. I mean, I only picked the Rokid because if I had to choose one, then the Rokid does have the slight edge, but you know, it's very close between the two, right? And I don't have the Nreal Air to compare, so I can't talk about that one, but at least in terms of having a good solid pair of video glasses on the market, you can't go wrong with these two. So yeah, just choose whichever one you think is going to have more success in the ecosystem, I guess, have more popularity, because you know, if you're looking for third-party applications or accessories, it's better to choose one which has long-term success. Rokid is a Chinese company, Viture is an American company. Maybe that matters in your decision making, I don't know. They're both small companies though. I think they're both smaller than Nreal or Xreal. But yeah, right now they have less support than Xreal or Nreal does. But I would say if you're looking for just a good pair of video glasses, you can't go wrong, right? But yeah, I think if your use case is you want to play video games lying on your bed or on the sofa or on the plane, or on the train, or watch movies or whatever on the go, then both of these are pretty nice options. Keep in mind that the Viture does have that neckband accessory, which I don't have as well. I don't think the Rokid has anything like that, so the Viture might have an edge in if you want to like just stream something from the cloud on the go. I think the neckband will actually allow you to stream video games like PS5 or something on the go, which is really cool. I don't think that's something the Rokid has right now. The Rokid is a little bit newer, so the accessories are still coming up, like the HDMI dongle, but they are coming up. So anyways, maybe that's something to take into consideration as well. And Nreal also has that beam accessory, which they came out with, so that could be another factor as well in which to get. I think Nreal definitely has the most, you know, people using it right now, and so they have the biggest ecosystem. But who knows? And maybe one of these will gain more traction, and then we'll see more ecosystem from these guys as well. But so far, in terms of the ecosystem, Nreal definitely has the most. Then Viture actually has the mobile dock and the neckband, which is cool. And the Rokid is pretty much just starting out, and it only has that wireless cast battery pack device, and that's from Guvis. It's not actually from Rokid, technically, so it's not even theirs right now. Yeah, Rokid definitely has a way to go in terms of making that ecosystem happen. So I think that's one of the downsides of Rokid, but yeah, they're coming up, so you know, I trust them. Rokid is a company that was launched like 10 years ago, so it's not like they're super new or anything. They're actually older than Viture is, I think. So something else to consider if you're choosing between the Rokid and the Viture is whether you want to have a device without USB-C video out to show up on these displays. Because right now, the Rokid's HDMI dongle hasn't come out yet. You have to use that wireless cast module, which is actually from Guvis, and you have to like go through a whole bunch of hoops basically. It's not very easy to set up, it's not very easy to use. You have to download the Miracast app, you have to go to this IP, you have to like connect to the right network, you know. There's a lot of hassle to set up. That's why I didn't show it in this video, because that wireless cast module, honestly, I don't think is worth it unless you like really want to connect a device that, you know, can't connect to the Rokid normally. And you know, in that case, I would say go for the Viture. The Viture already has a mobile dock accessory which allows you to connect any device with HDMI out. So say you have like for me I have an NVIDIA Shield, PS4 Pro, PS5, none of those really have ability to output video through USB-C out. So in that case, if I want to actually like play games from my PS4 or PS5 for example, then I think the Viture is definitely a better choice. It already has a mobile dock with that. And instead of setting up some like, you know, wireless cast thing, I think that's a lot more hassle. So that's another thing to consider, right? If you have a device doesn't have USB-C video out, I would say right now go for the Viture until the HDMI dongle comes up for the Rokid. I can't really recommend it using the wireless cast device, because the wireless cast module to me is not worth it. It's just very complicated. It's finicky to use, and a lot of times it just doesn't work properly. I mean, I tried mirror casting from my phone several times, it failed. My laptop, yeah, it's just a lot of hassle to go through. So that's another thing to consider as well. If you have a device HDMI out and you want to just connect it to the display, get the Viture. So that's it, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, which one would you pick? Would you pick the Rokid Max, or would you pick the Viture XR glasses, or would you pick the Nreal Air? I know, when you watch those video reviews on YouTube, let me know what you guys think, and just comment below. And as always, thanks for watching. Okay, so after me and my friend used the Viture and the Rokid Max for a bit, I think we have come to several agreed upon conclusions about these two glasses. So let me just start off by saying that there is no right choice out of these two. They both have their pros and cons, and they definitely have more similarities than differences actually. So both of these glasses have pretty good picture quality, I think amongst the best out of any HMDs that I've ever tried, or head-mounted displays. So the picture quality overall is very good out of both of these, and they use the exact same lenses actually, which are the Sony micro OLED lenses. Now the differences are a little bit more subtle between the two. So the main advantage, I would say, I just go the pros and cons of each. So the pro of the Viture is that the color temperature on the Viture is actually pretty good. It's actually a little bit more brighter than the Rokid. So for example, if I'm watching like a movie with a lot of dark scenes, or playing like a game like Resident Evil with a lot of dark areas, the Viture actually has a bit more brightness, so it's easier to see that. The color temperature I think is a little bit more accurate on the Vitures as well. And the speakers are actually quite good in terms of the fidelity. So when you're talking about, if we're talking about like speakers from glasses, right, like the Razer Anzu audio glasses, for example, the Viture's audio quality from the speakers is actually quite solid. It's okay for what it is. So pretty good detail out of the speakers actually. And of course it comes with a lot of nice accessories like the mobile dock, which is basically a battery and a Nintendo Switch adapter in one device, and it allows you to connect multiple Viture glasses. If you have another friend that you know that also buys the Viture XR glasses, you can both connect to it and play, you know, the same game or watch the same movie. That's a really cool extra feature. And then the neckband as well, which lets you basically stream stuff when you're on the go. That's a really cool ecosystem that Viture already has that the Rokid doesn't. So another pro of the Viture is that it actually comes with different nose pieces, so you can swap out different nose pieces if it doesn't fit, whereas the Rokid only comes with one nose piece. I'm actually not sure if it's interchangeable, maybe it is, but they don't really include other nose pieces with the glasses. But with the Viture you actually get 4 different nose pieces, so that's a nice extra that you get with the Viture. So that's the pros of the Viture. The cons of the Viture, I feel like the difference between the AR and the VR modes here isn't that, I mean, the VR mode is basically just blackening out, right? It's electrochromatic lenses. It basically just blackens out some of the parts of the display outside of the viewable area, and that's definitely my preference, but it's still not that immersive. So I would prefer if Viture included some blocker shades like the Rokid does. If it included some blocker shades, that would be a lot better, but since it doesn't, to me it's still a little bit distracting to wear these glasses, and then it's not that immersive. I had to even put on VR mode all the time, but it's still a little bit distracting even with that. The virtual display inside of here is not that big. It's honestly almost just like holding like my smartphone a little bit closer to my face, actually. So it is really just like viewing a big TV in a living room. But in terms of the virtual display size, it's definitely not as big as the Rokid's. I wish it was bigger. And yeah, the sound quality is good, but I wish that the volume got a little bit louder, because on some games and movies it can feel pretty quiet, and the way to adjust the volume isn't as intuitive, because the default, I guess, function of this little rocker here is to adjust the brightness, not the volume. And yeah, even if I turn up the volume on my source device to full, it's still really not that loud. So just be aware the max volume for the Viture is not that loud, even though the sound fidelity itself is good. It's like decently detailed for what it is, but you just can't, yeah, some games and movies I just feel like it's too quiet. So that's the cons of the Viture. Now the pros of the Rokid. It comes with these blocker shades, which makes it more immersive, definitely compared to the Vitures. And the virtual display inside of here is definitely bigger than the Vitures. So it definitely feels like, this one definitely feels like you're sitting in the middle of a cinema theater, whereas like a normal size cinema. Whereas the Viture feels like you're just in a living room with a big TV. So that's the difference. I think the Rokid's virtual picture is definitely bigger. Another pro of the Rokid is that the speakers actually do get louder than the Vitures do. Now the actual fidelity of the speakers, I think the Viture speakers might be a little bit more detailed, but it's pretty close. But the Rokid's speakers do get louder, and that's noticeable. So yeah, you know, that's another pro of the Rokid, although I have to mention that it's kind of annoying that the volume always resets to 5 every time that you plug it into a new phone or a new device. So that's also a con of the Rokid as well, is the fact that it resets the volume basically. So every time I plug it into a new device, it resets to 5. I have to adjust it back to 8 or 10. And 5 is just a little, it's too low, right? So I don't know why it resets back to 5 every time. It's just an annoying thing about the Rokid. Another few pros for the Rokid. The Rokid's diopters go down to -60, whereas the Vitures go down to -5D. So if you're more nearsighted, then the Rokid it goes down a little bit more. And then for the virtual display, the internal virtual display inside of these, the Rokid has 120 Hertz refresh, the Viture only has 60 Hertz. So that might matter if you're playing some fast-paced action games and stuff. So yeah, that's another pro in favor of the Rokid. It has basically double the refresh rate. And yeah, I guess they have some accessories that's coming up, but they're not out yet. And I think that's also the con, right, of Rokid, is that their ecosystem, while it's coming up, it's not as developed as Viture's is yet. Viture actually does have the neckband and the mobile dock here. Rokid has to basically latch off of Goovis for this wireless cast adapter, and then the HDMI dongle is still being in development, and they don't have anything like the neckband as far as I know. So their accessories a little bit limited compared to the Vitures. Also, the picture quality, while it's about comparable, the actual contrast I think is different. So like I said, the Viture's picture is a bit brighter, which is good for like watching movies or playing games with a lot of dark areas. That's also kind of a con for the Viture as well, because if the movie or the game is already bright to begin with, it can seem a little bit washed out. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The brightness of the Viture is a positive and a negative. It can seem a little bit washed out on really bright movies already, but then on darker movies and stuff, then it's better, right? You can see that, make out the shadows a little bit clearer, and the fact that you can adjust the brightness is nice on the Viture very easily. But yeah, I would say that's kind of like a pro and a con, depending on what type of movies or games that you play and watch. Now the Rokid's contrast and brightness is not as good as the Viture's, I would say, because the blacks are almost too black, to the point where if I'm playing a game with a lot of darkness or watching movies with a lot of dark areas, like I watch black and white classic films, for example, it's too dark, where you can hardly make out the, you know, some of the people. You can hardly make out some of the backgrounds because it's just too dark. So that's kind of a con of the Rokid, is I feel like the color temperature is a little bit on the dark side. The Viture is a little bit on the bright side. So it really depends on what kind of movies and what kind of content, right, you're playing and watching. So just be aware of that. The Rokid, if you have like really dark areas and stuff, it may not be easy to make them out because it's a little bit too dark. Whereas the Viture does have that brightness setting adjustment. So yeah, those are the pros and cons of both. So there's no right choice here. They both have their pros and cons. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. One other thing about the Viture and the Rokid that people keep asking me is, do the Rokid glasses work with the Viture accessories, like the mobile dock? And does the Viture glasses work with the Rokid accessories, i.e. the Rokid hub? The answer is no, they don't work with each other. I've already tried it. They're not compatible with each other. So yeah, that's the answer. Basically, I wish they worked with each other. I mean, I actually really like the Viture mobile dock. I just wish that the Viture glasses had a bigger screen like the Rokids. And I tried using it with the mobile dock, but no, it doesn't work. I do like the mobile dock solution better than the Guvis wireless cast paired with the Rokid hub. That's, you know, a little bit more hacky. But unfortunately, yeah, they don't work with each other. So yeah, guys, I'm always looking forward to your questions and comments. Let me know what you guys think. Which one would you rather pick? I would say the Viture's ecosystem is a huge plus for people who care about that. And if you don't mind having like a smaller display, or if you're watching like a lot of movies or playing a lot of games with dark areas, then I think the Viture is probably better. Yeah, for me, I would probably pick the Rokid Max, and that's just for my use case. I prefer to have the bigger virtual display in the immersion, and that outweighs the fact that the Viture is better looking in some games and movies, and the fact that it has this ecosystem of accessories, because I'm not really like going to use that neckband. I already have enough gaming handhelds and on my phone, right, to stream movies basically. So the neckband isn't that useful to me. I know it's probably useful for a lot of people, but not for me. And then the mobile dock, actually the Rokid does have an equivalent to that. So yeah, for me, I don't really have use for the Viture accessories in that case, and I really do prefer the bigger virtual display and the additional immersion offered by the Rokids, as well as the fact that the Rokid does have a louder speaker. So that's another pro of the Rokid as well. The Rokid's like speaker is a little bit louder than the Viture's, even though the Viture arguably has more detailed speakers, but the Rokid is pretty close and it gets louder. So that's another plus for me. So yeah, for me it's the Rokid which has the edge. Oh yeah, Fast RMX. Yeah, you can play that. This is a good game to test because it's actually a really fast game.
What?
It's a good game to test because it's a really fast game. So you can, this one is actually 60 hertz refresh. The Rokid is 120 hertz.
I can't really hear you. Is there a way to turn down the volume?
Turn down?
Yeah.
No, you had to turn it down on the Switch. It's
not
not
on the Switch? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a controller your knockoff Pro Control?
No, it's the Nintendo.
Oh, it's a real one?
Yep.
Oh, you bought this new or used?
I've had it for a while. I bought it.
This is the actual one you left in Korea.
Yeah, this is my actual.
Oh, this is the actual one you left in Korea.
Yeah, that's the official one.
Okay, the buttons are kind of sticky, like they're kind of getting stuck.
Oh, I don't know. I had it for a while though.
Okay, yeah, this button right here, it gets stuck when you push it. Okay, airplane mode. Where's the volume? Or how do I set the volume on here?
Just set it on the Switch.
Okay.
Do you need it lower?
Yeah, it's a little bit lower because the game's really loud. I can hear you talk.
Oh, let's see.
Where should I play?
Up to you. I have it set to Fast RMX. It's a fast game you can play, but racing game.
Only thing is it keeps falling down on me.
Oh.
Yeah, like it keeps like falling down a little bit, and I can't see the top of the screen sometimes. It's probably because of the nose piece. I need to adjust it so that.
There are different nose pieces too.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it's the nose piece. It keeps coming down a little bit. Yeah.
There are different nose, but I also noticed that it's kind of hard to see the very top of that display.
Sorry?
It's kind of hard to see the very top of that display as well for me.
Yeah, it's the nose piece. So like for example, I think it's a little bit maybe wide. Like I need to narrow it out a bit so then it stays up. Once it's up, then I can see the whole screen.
Okay, maybe I'll try.
Yeah, if this stuff is cheaper, man, I'll probably get one too, just for fun.
I mean, this is really good for like laying down in bed or just you know, on a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good for traveling as well. So I mean.
Yep. So does the fact that it's not that immersive bother you?
The fact that it's not what?
Is that the fact that you can see behind it, does that bother you? Like it's not that immersive?
I actually don't mind it at all.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just like using a real TV. And that's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Okay.
Yeah, I can totally focus on the screen.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
Pretty cool. And I think the option of having someone else like plug in the second one
Mhm.
is actually pretty big. Of course, like so far, no one else has one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But even for in the future, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's cool to have the option.
Yeah. But let me check out like the video quality first, like for the movies.
Okay.
The screen does look a little bit bigger with this one.
Yep. The speakers actually get louder in this one too. Yeah, and you can actually adjust the speakers from this one.
Where?
So it's let's see, is it on this side or okay, do you see the one with like the two buttons? That one should be the volume.
No,
Yeah.
that's the brightness.
Yeah.
Should I have the brightness to max?
Yeah, I always put it to max. Yeah. Do you see the volume?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you, this one can go up higher. Yep. So which one do you prefer?
The biggest thing that I noticed
Mhm.
is these, in terms of color accuracy,
Yep.
they're pretty close, pretty
Okay.
similar. But the biggest difference is these glasses. What's the brand of these ones?
Rokid.
The what?
Rokid.
Okay, the Rokid ones.
Yep.
The screen's a lot darker for this one.
Okay. Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Hard to say. I would say there's it's a little bit too dark. So during the parts where there's more shadow, dark parts,
Mhm.
there's not as much shadow detail.
Okay.
So if you're watching something with like a high contrast and you get like some like say someone's wearing like black,
Mhm.
some darker stuff, and then some white stuff too.
Mhm.
The dark stuff just kind of gets a little bit too dark. You
Mhm.
don't see the details in there. Whereas these ones,
Mhm.
the Vitures,
Yep.
yeah, the Vitures, it's a little bit brighter overall the picture, so you get a bit more shadow detail as well. So you can see what's going on in the dark stuff a little more.
Okay.
If I had to choose, I'd probably take the Vitures because it doesn't seem like it's too bright, whereas this one feels like it's a little bit too dark sometimes,
Okay.
just by a touch.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty good.
Okay.
But,
So
but I think overall maybe these ones are a bit better because these ones are just a little bit too dark.
okay. So you like the picture quality and the speakers on the Viture a bit better?
I think so. I think the sound is actually a little better here too.
Okay.
Like this one is cool that you can actually adjust it and make it a little bit louder.
Okay.
But I think the actual audio quality might be. It sounds a bit more natural.
Okay. And you don't mind that this one the screen's a little bit smaller?
I do like the fact that this one the screen's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
So the fact that this one the screen's a little bit bigger, I can actually see a little bit more detail.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the skin textures,
Mhm.
some of the scene I can see a bit more detail in the skin
Yeah.
texture, just because the screen's a little bigger.
Yeah.
But the thing is just the contrast here overall. The picture looks just a little bit more darker,
Hmm. Okay.
and I think it's a little bit too dark compared to like what it should look like,
Okay.
just by a touch. It's
Okay.
still okay though. It's still very usable.
Okay.
But we're talking about maybe like between 5 to 10% in between, just a little bit darker than it should in terms of being properly calibrated. Yeah. If that's the case, I'd rather have this where I can at least see all the shadow details and everything anyways. Yeah, it'd be nice if this was a little bit bigger screen, but in terms of picture quality, because of I think the brightness level is more accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of color accuracy, they're pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for this one, because it's brighter, some scenes might seem like it's a little bit more washed out
Mm-hmm.
because it's brighter by nature.
Okay.
But I think this would actually probably handle maybe 80% of the movie a little bit better. Especially scenes where like Sunday's gonna be dark, at least you can still see some shadow details. And yeah. Whereas this one, once it gets dark, those sections are like it's hard to see what's going on in the dark sections here a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is for watching movies. I want to hear your opinion about playing games on these two. Then.
Okay, sure.
You like better for
Screen
gaming?
size is pretty good for gaming. At least I'm playing a 2D classic game right now. I think, like, say I'm playing Street Fighter right now, and I think the Viture size actually fits better, like
Okay.
for Street Fighter.
Okay.
Because I can see the whole screen a little bit better at the same time.
Hmm.
But even with gaming, you can kind of tell the difference in the brightness. Yeah.
So you
The Viture's a little bit brighter, and the other one's just a little bit darker.
okay? So you prefer the Vitures for gaming too?
Sorry?
You prefer the Vitures for gaming too, or the Rokids?
It's pretty close because it's not that big of a deal for gaming.
Yep.
But I would say the Viture might be just a bit more accurate in terms of the brightness and shadow detail.
Hmm.
So it really depends on what
Tough.
you want. Really, the difference between these two, it's more the brightness contrast level. That's the biggest difference.
So it's like, do you want better brightness or better contrast?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In some ways, there's yeah, the Rokid has a bit more black level to it, I think. So as a result, some of the colors seem to maybe pop a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the screen is just maybe a little bit too dark, but you know, it's still okay, I guess. But then for certain movies, though, sometimes it does seem a bit dark. Whereas the other one, the Viture is a bit more accurate, but just a little bit bright, a little bit too bright, closer to accurate.
Hmm.
But as a result, like colors do seem a touch washed out, but still not bad.
Hmm.
Still pretty good. And you still see good details within the dark scene, so yeah.
So which one do you like better for playing games?
Playing games is pretty close. I'm gonna go back to the that racing game in a sec, just to see.
Yeah, the racing game, because maybe you can experience a higher refresh rate on the Rokid. You need to carry a battery pack for both, of course.
Yeah,
So
of course.
The Switch needs to be charged.
Yeah, switch has to be. So which one are you leaning towards to keep?
The Rokid a little bit more because
Ah.
it has a little bit of a bigger display, and it's once you put the blockers on, it's more immersive.
Okay.
The thing about the Viture is that even if you turn off the electrochromatic film
Yeah.
on to VR mode or whatever, it's still not like that immersive. You can still see like everything around you, which is distracting at times.
Yeah. Well, the point is also they're not trying to make it completely immersive, you know, because it's not really VR.
But it's nice to have an option. With the Rokid, you have the option. You can just turn the blockers on or off, right?
Right.
The Viture, you just can't make it immersive. It's always going to be like kind of distraction.
Rokid. Who makes the Rokid? Who makes the Rokid?
It's a Chinese company.
Oh.
Yeah. They're both around the same price.
Hey,
So
can
the-
you remove this cover?
Yeah, so this is the blockers I'm talking about. So this is if you want to make it immersive,
Yeah.
you put these blockers on.
Yeah.
And then if you just want it like more like the Viture, then you just take it off and you can see around
The
you.
Viture has blockers too.
It doesn't come with any.
Really? Because when I was checking the features, they showed it. They said it comes with blockers.
It doesn't come with any.
Oh, maybe you have to buy it separately?
Maybe, but
Okay.
out of the box, this one has blockers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only thing is these glasses look more weird compared to the Vitures.
They both look kind of like this one. You can tell there's something behind it as well, right? So
Yeah. This one's a little bit more normal looking. This one just is like, yeah.
I would say like this one looks more like Oakley's, this one more like Ray-Bans, but
Yeah.
they're both kind of like yeah. Because like once you plug it in, it's gonna think it's docked, and then these any kind of attach controllers won't work. You have to use wireless. Yeah. Yeah, try the Vitures first.
Cool.
Both are pretty easy. You just have one cable. This one just magnetic. So the cool thing with Viture is actually if you have another person who has a glass, you can put them both. in at the same time, and the Rokid doesn't have that.
Okay.
Only the Viture does. Of course, I don't know anyone else that has a Viture, but it's in case if. And I tried. Oh, the unfortunate thing is, like, I tried using this with this. It doesn't work. There's no cross compatibility.
Okay.
I was like, it would be cool if this worked with this, right?
Right, and they're keeping your Rokid there, right? So.
Well, I'm. That's why I want your opinion, like, because I know there's a difference in the colors, and the actual display quality I think is similar, but the colors are different. So that's why I wanted to.
Okay. Well, one thing I can do is I guess I can access YouTube from the Switch anyway, and check out some YouTube videos as well.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Here, and remember to adjust the diopters here for your eyes.
Okay.
So you get them in the correct. And actually, you tell us. So right now, I don't know if you're in AR mode or VR mode, but this one on the side here, like there's you see this button on the side. This one will adjust between the different modes.
One black.
Yeah, one makes it like one is like you can completely see behind it, and then one is like you can darken it a little bit. So I usually use the one that's darkened a little bit.
I see.
Because the other one is just too distracting. But
Pretty cool though.
yeah, let me see. So there's also these other nose pieces you can try. There you go. Let's see.
So you said you had like stuff similar before. How's the picture quality of this compared to the ones you owned previously?
It's actually like compared to my Royal Moon. It's actually it's pretty close. The major difference though is that this is way more portable.
Yeah.
And that's I think a huge advantage. Of course, the sound quality I think my Royal's better because it comes with built-in headphones. But then with this, you can always use wireless earbuds or over ears anyways. So that's that's fine. So yeah, I think overall this is just more practical because it's just way more portable. And the video quality is actually about similar, but it's just the fact that it's way more portable. I think that's the main advantage. Okay, so which you try these. Which okay. See which one I like better of these two.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea. Maybe let's
Try putting them on your nose.
Hard to say.
Like this is mainly under your nose bridge.
Probably this one.
This one? Okay, let's try it.
How much does Viture cost?
So both of these are around $500 US. And another thing about the Viture is it has this neckband accessory.
Yeah.
And that one you can actually stream stuff, like you can stream from your like stream movies or PS5 from PS5 or something on the go, which is really cool.
With the neckband accessory? How that
Yeah.
work? Like,
So apparently they have their own like cloud streaming server, whatever. So you can just as long as you have an internet connection, you can like be playing like a movie or something from PS5 from your home like TV server, and it'll just stream to the neckband.
And the neckband connects to this.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of cool because like you can play your PS5 on the go.
Interesting. So as long as everything is connected to your same internet network,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah. So that's really cool. That's something only the Viture
That
has.
is really cool, actually.
Yeah.
That might be actually pretty important.
Yeah.
I mean, because otherwise you don't want to be like always sitting beside the PS5. You want to stream this stuff together, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's really cool.
That's actually pretty huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, you should double check because I know for sure there was something you can add on there to make it like immersive. Yeah, 'Cause I saw it on the.
And maybe it's separate though. It doesn't come.
Maybe a
with
separate
this.
piece you have to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a new nose piece, right?
Yep. Oh, and
How do I turn it on?
I'll just I have a couple movies on here. Sticking this.
Okay, cool.
Movie.
How do I turn this on?
It'll automatically turn on when it's connected.
Okay.
There's no battery for this. It just runs off of the.
Oh, okay. When it's plugged in.
So let's see. Okay. What movie are you interested in?
Do you have After the Storm in there? Preferably.
Nope. How about Godfather?
Yeah, sure. Godfather. Just none of those modern Hollywood like action hero movies because the colors in there are so saturated. It's kind of messed up.
Okay, this should just show up on the
Yeah,
screen.
at least Godfather, I know the colors really well.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the new camera intake. So it's got the new colors, the slightly aqua teal blue color.
Yeah, I noticed it has a very bluish tint to this one.
Yeah, original wasn't like this. Original was more like a purplish tint.
You want to try it out with the Switch first? Or?
No, it's okay. Let's switch straight to the movies.
Okay.
So there's a way to connect like our own headphones to this thing, right?
You would have to connect it to the source device. So
Oh,
if you don't like it, just you connect your phone or your Switch
okay.
or whatever.
Yeah, so the volume is really quiet though, even for aliens. Yeah, I can barely hear what
Okay,
you're saying.
my phone was on max.
That's strange. Like for the gaming, it's totally fine. Gaming was actually even too loud.
Yeah, that's dependent on the source device. So maybe it's just my Sony wasn't.
While you're walking through.
Okay.
This one, yeah, screen's definitely bigger.
So do you think the colors are they're different, right?
A little bit. Let's switch back and see that one. Like the thing is, from my
I'm not sure which one's like more accurate.
from my first impression, I think this one's picture quality is better. However, the thing is, because this one actually imitates a larger screen, and because right now the video files are very high quality, so they're really compressed. So there's actually a lot of like just issues with the image quality from the files itself.
Okay.
So I'm not sure is it because this is now imitating a bigger screen, so it's bringing out all the prompts in the video file. So I'm not even sure if it's even the prompt with the glasses. So if we have like a pristine video file, that would be much more easier to judge.
We just play games on it. That should be good. It's the same quality.
But with games, it's kind of hard to judge which color is accurate with games. It's much more better with movie and skin tone, real skin tones, like active. Also, I'm not sure if the bigger screen is actually like a good thing for games. Because the thing is, like, you might sometimes with quicker reaction, you want to see the whole screen at the same time. And then, like, with watching a movie, it's fine. Because a movie would be like a movie theater. You can watch like, oh, it's kind of cool. I'm seeing everything. That's kind of really cool. But with a game, sometimes you want to see everything at once because you want to react faster. And then, like, if I can't see the
like your field of view though.
Sorry?
It's not like I don't think it's that big where you can't things are out of your field of view. You can still your field of view. And actually, this inner display is actually has a high refresh rate.
Sorry?
So that one actually is 120 hertz inner display. This one is only 60 hertz. So
120 hertz or what?
So the inner, like the virtual display for that one's 120 hertz. So
Okay.
actually it should be smoother for gaming.
So we're talking about the refresh rate, right?
Yeah, and this one is actually only 60 hertz.
Okay.
So actually that one should be smoother for gaming too. But yeah, try this one for the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to look for After the Storm.
You really want to watch that movie, huh?
Yeah, because his colors are like more unique in terms of realism. From what I can tell right now, I think color accuracy, they're pretty close, but I think I might like this one a bit more for color accuracy, just by a bit. For a movie though, it's pretty cool having a larger screen though, like for a movie. But yeah.
I just a trailer. If you want to see a trailer, there's just trailers on YouTube. For
It's okay. I
after
think I can.
Storm.
There should be a full movie on there.
Really?
Yeah. But you know what? I can. Yeah, trailers. You know, I'll watch this first.
Yeah, I think the speakers on that one get louder though than this one.
Sorry?
The speakers, I think that one gets a little bit louder.
Yep, but I think the sound quality for these are better.
Oh, really? I think it's similar.
Okay.
Sound quality.
Just
Just that one gets louder.
from what I can tell, I think I like the sound quality of this much better. I think it's just better sound. That one does get louder,
Yeah.
but I think this is better sound. That one, the audio sounds a little bit tinny and artificial. Still okay, okay.
Yeah.
But I think this one sounds better.
Okay.
How do I switch to this video though? Because right now it's still on the Godfather.
Do you see my phone screen right now?
Nope. I just see like well now it's black. Yeah.
Now you see it?
No, nope. I don't see anything now.
Now do you see it?
Okay, now I see it. Interesting. So I wonder how we because it was like frozen on the Godfather thing.
Yeah, I was playing that.
Okay, yeah, no wonder it's 40p. I mean, the YouTube settings 40p.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, it looked horrible on. It looked okay here, but it looked horrible on the glasses though. Which color? Which is kind of so interesting because if you look at the screen here and that screen, almost the same size.
Yeah.
But then I guess that's imitating a bigger screen, so it's actually.
No, it makes sense. It really is like viewing a big screen TV from about the sofa, normal couch length.
You're not able to change the size of the screen, right?
No.
Like on the glasses, like it's set, right?
Yeah, it's set.
Okay, I swear for some reason like the screens look smaller now, or maybe I'm just like used to it now. Honestly, the picture quality is pretty close. They're in color, not too far off. Like they're both actually quite accurate.
Yeah.
In color.
Yeah, this one's hard for me to pick.
It's pretty close. I mean, this one might be a little.
Just that this one is a little bit bigger, right?
This one's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
This one's also a little bit more green. I think if I had to choose, I swear, I think the color is still a little bit nicer on this one. The sound, I do notice this one sounds a bit better.
Okay.
But that one, the screen's a little bit bigger, which is kind of cool. So, it's pretty close, man. I would say maybe this one's a little bit better color, maybe. But we're talking.
Okay, try the gaming on that one. The Rokid.
Sure. Give me one more second. I'm gonna try one last time.
Yep.
Do this one. It's really close to honestly, man.
Yeah, that's why it's hard for me to pick. But I was leaning towards the Rokid because of the bigger display, so that kind of get in the blockers, so that kind of gave it an edge.
Alright, you want to record a game recording with the glasses, I guess. So,
Yes.
yeah, just a little bit darker. Yeah, you can test that later and you can probably tell when you're watching a movie. Yeah, you can probably see. Just look at the shadow areas. And then you notice this one, like the shadow areas, you don't see the details as well.
I'm curious about your game experience, because I honestly play more games probably than watch movies. So this is, more importantly, it's probably what feels better for playing games.
But some games are kind of dark too nowadays, especially the horror games, like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So, like this one, I would say is a little bit darker than what it should be for a calibrate. This one, I would say, is a little bit brighter than what it should be for a calibrate thing. But then, in my opinion, this row over there.
Rokid, yeah.
Yeah, this Rokid, you're talking about maybe from 5 to 10%, like maybe 8% darker than it should be in the dark areas, and it's pretty noticeable. Whereas this one, even though it's a little bit brighter than it should be, it's only maybe like 3 to 5% brighter than it should be.
Okay.
So that's why I think this one is still a bit better for overall usage.
Okay. But we're talking like pretty minor differences, actually.
But the darkness level is a pretty big difference. Once, like, to say this 8% darkness, this is like 4% more. We'd look at over 10% difference in darkness. So that's a pretty big difference between these two in terms of the shadow details. So since this is only about maybe 4% higher than what it should be, what is properly calibrated, so I think this one will work overall better for everything. Whereas this one is probably a good 8% darker than it should be in like the shadow areas. So yeah.
Yeah, for games, actually, this one should be better because it has a higher refresh rate. That's 120 hertz.
So if frame rate isn't that important, then maybe not a big deal. I mean, I still play stuff on plasma as like 60 hertz, so it plays totally fine.
Depends if you want like fast-paced games with like a lot of motion going on.
Let me go wash my face.
So this one actually has a sensor.
Yeah.
It will turn itself off if you take it off. It'll turn itself on when you put it back on.
Which was the
Rokids.
The Rokids?
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So.
Cool. So what do we play?
We'll play the same game or another game if you want to compare.
For gaming though, the Viture is pretty good for gaming.
Are they both 1080p?
Yep.
They're both 1080p, right? The glasses.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Only difference is the Viture has a 60 hertz refresh.
Sorry?
Viture has a 60 hertz refresh. Rokid has 120 hertz.
So these imitate like these are LCD screens, right?
No, they're OLED.
They're OLED.
Yep.
OLED. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, both of them are. They have the exact same micro OLED screens.
The Rokid.
Yep.
The Rokid. See, the Rokid, it's a little bit, just a touch on the dark side.
Yep.
But the black levels might be a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other one, I think it's a bit more accurate.
But it's a little bit washed out. It's a little bit washed out.
A little bit washed out, yeah. Like this, so the Rokid's a little bit too dark, but the colors seem a little less washed out though.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a bit more black level.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting. I mean, yeah, it's like what I said. The Rokid is a bit darker. Maybe just a bit darker than it should be.
So you have any preference you would choose?
It's close, man. Like the black levels seem a little bit better on the Rokid because it's darker.
Yeah.
You know, and that makes the colors look a little bit less washed out, like a bit more lush. But it's also a little bit darker than it should, I think. Just a touch darker than what it should be.
Okay.
Whereas the other one, it's not really that washed out. Maybe it's just a bit. We're only talking about a few percent. But that overall brightness, I think, is a bit more accurate. Although it's still a little bit more bright than it should be, but I think its brightness being over is a little bit more accurate than the other one being darker. Especially when you watch a movie, you can kind of tell. For gaming, I don't think it really affects. Either one's okay for gaming. I tried both two modern games, and also 2 retro games. And in terms of like for gaming, it won't really affect anything. You can clearly tell a difference though. You know, one is clearly a little bit darker, and the colors are clearly a little bit more lush, whereas the other one is a little bit brighter. The color is a bit more washed out as a result. But actually, it's hard to say. I would say the Viture is a bit more accurate overall though.
Yeah, but the actual image quality is pretty close between the two.
Pretty close in terms of quality. The other one, because the screen's bigger though, so you
Yep.
see a bit more detail. So things look like there's more detail sometimes. But at the same time, because it's bigger, I find it gets easier to get dizzy when you're playing games and stuff. So when you're playing any type of game, especially the modern games, if you're moving around, then it's a little bit easier to feel dizzy in the Rokid because it's a bigger screen. So it's almost feel like you're playing like virtual reality, like that. Whereas the other one looks like it's a regular TV, so it's much more less dizzy when you're using it.
Yeah.
For what I'm using, anyways. So that's something you maybe try and see for yourself. And then for 2D games, though, I think for 3D games, the size of the Rokid is okay.
Yeah.
But I think the size of the Rokid is not as good for 2D games, the retro 2D games. It's a little bit too big for that. So yeah, because retro 2D games, you kind of want to see the whole screen at once for the most part. And then and that's where it feels like it's a little bit too big. But it's still okay, it's still very playable. But just a tad too big. Yeah, it's tough, man.
I think I'm still leaning towards the Rokid because of the bigger screen. And actually, I don't get that dizziness that you get anymore.
Just make sure. Just double check the couple more games.
Yeah, because I don't really get that dizziness issue.
Okay.
But I do like. But if it's that close, I think the bigger screen will be giving me the edge.
Yeah, I think for me, I probably would take the Viture because I think the overall picture quality with
Plus
the
these blockers are nice.
Okay, well, I think the Viture just overall the picture quality.
Yeah.
I think is just more accurate.
Okay.
That brightness level is more accurate for Viture.
I think for me, because I play more games, I don't care about the accuracy as much. So if you watch more movies, it makes sense to get the more accurate one.
Yeah. And then also I think the screen being so big, for 2D games it's not as good. But if you're just gonna play games, you don't get dizzy. Honestly, you can't really go wrong with the Rokid. Honestly, I feel like the bigger screen.
And I think the blacker contrast is better for me too. I do like that.
Like, did you notice one was brighter and one was darker?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that, but I didn't know which one was actually like better. That's why I need your opinion on that.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely different, but I didn't know which one's actually.
When watching movies and also when playing Street Fighter, the Viture seems more accurate in terms of that brightness level. Yeah, things just look a little bit too dark on the Rokid for movies and for Street Fighter.
Now for the accessories, though, I think the Viture does have better accessories, like the neckband and having the two people able to connect to the same system.
Yep.
The Viture has better accessories.
Yeah, especially if you're, you know, on the, yeah. But I think that headband is pretty big. So that's something you should really think about. The headband's pretty important, I think.
That's a cool one. Yeah.
That's a really cool one. That's pretty important. Because there's no way you're gonna be like just, you know, sitting beside the PlayStation 5, right? If you want to use it. Yeah. So it's pretty big. And then that headband thing, you can use it to like connect with almost any device, right? Not just the PS5, right?
It's streams to a lot of things, I think.
Yeah, like say your laptop or something, you can probably stream to that, maybe?
Yeah, but I haven't bought that one. That was like an extra 150 or something.
Okay.
I didn't buy it. I didn't know how exactly it works, but
either way, that feature's pretty big.
yeah, that's a cool feature only the Viture has, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if, you know, it was pretty much the Viture, but with slightly bigger screen. What screen size is supposed to mimic the Viture?
The Viture is supposed to be 120 inches from 10 feet away, but to me, that's about what it is, because it's like almost like I'm sitting in a sofa, and I am viewing a really big TV.
Yeah.
From from that far away, but it's just like viewing in a living room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then the Rokid is actually that's a 200 something inch screen, but the Rokid feels like you're more in the theater. Like to me, it feels like you are sitting in an actual theater, not just. Whereas the Viture is like you're in a living room.
Yeah.
So that to me is a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense. That's why I said like when playing like a 2D game, I think the Rokid's too big. Because you're not supposed to play like, you know, Street Fighter or like such a big screen. I should be seeing everything at once. I want to see what my opponent.
But for movies, it might be better, right?
For movies, yes. For movies, it's more immersive, more fun. However, the problem is like it's a little bit dark sometimes. For certain movies, like Godfather, certain scenes are a bit too dark. Yeah. For example, if you take a look at sometimes the people are wearing a dark shirt or something, you don't see the details on the dark shirt quite as easily on the Rokid. Whereas on the Viture, you can see the details on like their black shirt a lot more easily, because the brightness is a bit more accurate. Yeah. Because
So,
if you're using like the Rokid, then when you're watching the movie or something or YouTube video, and instead of watching those Japan walking videos at night, pretty much anyone wearing black is just gonna be black stuff. Yeah. And then but with the Viture, I can see details like, you know, in terms of like the black shirt, you know, some stuff like that.
it's tough. They're the same price too.
It's tough. Yeah.
But it's cool. There's a lot of companies making this stuff. There's also X-Real as well. They also make these AR glasses. There's a few companies making this stuff now, which is cool.
But I do feel like for me, the Rokid got me just tempted. Yeah, just a bit. And definitely when watching like After the Storm or something, I do prefer the Viture for that.
Great.
The brightness is more accurate.
So would you actually get one of these?
In the future, but not that price. I think it's cheaper, sure. Honestly, like something like this, the most I would pay is like $200 maybe. So $500, I think is not really for me. It's really cool though.
Yep.
But it's just I don't really have too much of a use case. I'm totally cool just looking at the screen, you know, when I'm playing like, you know, handheld, and then I have TVs everywhere in my house. You know, there's one in my bedroom. I have one in my bedroom. I have one in the living room. So there's really no instance where like where I really need to. And I have another TV in the kitchen. So my parents are always watching TV in the kitchen, and if one of my girlfriends are over, then they can just chill in my bedroom.
I actually, for me, there's a more convenient use case. So say I'm want to watch a movie on my phone, or have my GPU win forward, right, or Steam Deck or whatever. Hooking that up to the TV is actually kind of a hassle. Whereas this, you just plug it straight in, right?
What do you want to watch in that case?
So say like I have a movie I want to watch that's on my phone, or I have a game I want to play on my GPD or like Steam Deck or whatever. Hooking that up to the TV is actually kind of a hassle. Whereas with this, you just plug it in, right? Just one cable, you plug it in, and then it just works, and then you got like a bigger screen. So that I could see being an easier use case.
Yeah.
This Switch, yeah, I mean, I guess if I was playing on the go, that'd be better. At home, it doesn't make it too big a difference, but like on the go, yeah. So that's kind of where I see it. It's like if you feel like even at home, if I feel like, you know, my phone screen is too small, or my the GPD screen is too small, then I plug it in, right? And then it really is just like you have a much bigger screen, right? So Because that's what my use case at home would be.
Yeah. Like for me, because like say the Steam Deck and stuff, I'm perfectly happy using that screen on the Steam Deck. So for me, that's okay.
I mean, that's a 720 screen. Whereas these are 1080.
Yeah, well, it's all relative, right? On a size screen like that, I can't really tell the difference between 1080 and 1080. So the 720s on a screen like that looks like a 1080p screen already on a smaller screen, so that's totally fine. And then in terms of movies, well, I don't really put movies on my phone. It's on my hard drive, and then it's running through a computer that's up to the TV already for me. So it doesn't really matter. For me, the basic most use case is if I'm out somewhere.
Yep.
And then I'll watch like a video on YouTube or something. Just for fun, I want a bigger screen. Or if I'm on a plane, I think on the plane is the most useful usage.
Yep.
Yeah, for me.
Yep. Because the screens they give you on the plane sucks.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that built-in display, and of course you're limited to whatever they give you.
Exactly.
So,
on the plane is by far the most useful thing these glasses are for me. So yeah.
I also like playing on my bed as well. Some people actually like mount like a projector. And stuff like that. This is obviously much better, more practical than that.
Yeah.
But
playing on my bed, I just like using the screen, the original screen.
Okay. Yeah. These are really nice when you do play on bed, though.
Yeah. Really I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty cool. Yeah, because like for me on bed, like I have the TV facing my bed already, and I can also use that's really. Yeah. So for me, the use case is so small that it's really neat and it's cool to have. In my case, in your case, you have use case because you don't have a TV in your bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I do. And then I have 3 TVs at home. So, like, say if a girlfriend's over, then if she doesn't want whatever her own thing, she can just use my room, use that TV.
Oh, that is. I have so many gaming handhelds.
Yeah.
Right. And like every time, if I want to hook up gaming handheld to this TV, you gotta like plug in a dock, HDMI, blah blah blah, all that crap, right? For me, it's like, I simply want to play this on a larger display. So then I just go on my bed, lie down and use that. It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they're really cool.
I have to return one of them.
Yeah. For me, I would it would be a tough choice for me too, but I think I would probably go with the Viture.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I like the accuracy of the picture.
I just can't go with a smaller screen though. I really like the bigger screen, the Rokid, because and plus the fact that this one, I don't know if maybe there's blockers, but it's not immersive for me. I want to have this stuff blocked out. Okay. So that's where the Rokid does have the blockers.
Like I said, but the Vitures definitely do. You just gotta take a look. Yeah, I still remember it was on a commercial.
Yeah, but then it's still a smaller display, and that's always going to be the case, right? So, yeah, I just feel like with Rokid, with the bigger display, with the immersion, is better for me.
See, for me, the Rokid, for that size screen, it's great for movies, but too bad it's a little bit dark. Than it should be. But that size screen, I think, is a little bit too big for gaming for me. Because first of all, for 3D, it gets me. For 3D, it does work okay, but it gets me a little bit dizzy. But for 2D, it's definitely too big for a 2D screen. Yeah. For 3D is different because 3Ds you don't need to look at the whole screen at once. 3D games are more developed for you to kind of be like an FPS or a 3PS where you're focusing on one point, on that person moving around, and then you're moving with the environment, and then you're looking around. That's really the way 3D games are made. Yeah. But 2D games are made for you to see the whole screen at once and then reacting to all this shit coming at you. Like for example, like 2D game, I have to see my enemy, I see where I am, where I'm in placement to him, what is he doing, I know where I am, and then I know when the counter and stuff like that. Right. Or you're playing a shoot 'em up, you gotta see all the shit, the bullets coming at you from the whole screen. So you need to see the whole screen at once. Okay. Yeah, if it's too big, it makes it really hard to play because I can only see so far. I gotta move my neck to see how many more bullets coming from the top. Yeah, so the metal slug, all that stuff, it affects it. But 3D games, it doesn't affect it, but I just get a little bit dizzy.
Do you notice a difference when you're like seeing the edges of that display?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have to like tilt the glasses down a little bit? Or
I didn't have to, but then sometimes the edges would look a little bit, a touch like blurry or off for me sometimes, depending on the situation. But I have some eye issues too, so then that could be a part of it too. Yeah. So I don't know. They're both solid. So I mean, yeah.